The dynamic duo is back. What is going on, hockey fans? It is your boy Neil Villapiano, the host of the Devil's State of Mind podcast here on the Hockey Podcast Network. Joined with me is my good buddy Kyle Manifold. You've seen Kyle plenty of times on these live watch-alongs, and we welcome you to another edition of Live Watch-Along live here on THPN's YouTube channel. Tonight, we have a battle in the Metropolitan Division as we have the New Jersey Devils traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the red-hot Pittsburgh Penguins, winners of their last five, while the New Jersey Devils come in losers of their last three and missing three of their key players in Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, and now Timo Meier. So, Kyle, first and foremost, man, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's the first time you and I have done one together. How you doing this evening?
Just trying to think if we did one before outside of the playoffs.
Did we do a preseason one?
I thought we did preseason.
I think we did a preseason one, maybe.
Yeah, but then outside of that, it's the playoffs. So you're right. Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. It's you wanted to do this game last minute, and I just had to continue wondering if you're feeling a little nervous.
Last minute, you mean this morning? That's not last minute.
Right. Well, it was kind of last minute. All right, fair. I had to set everything up, and I had to make sure everything looked pretty and all that. I
could have done
it. I know.
I could have done it when I got home, but okay.
Listen, I just enjoy hockey games that I don't have to watch my team play bad. So I'm excited to watch a neutral game tonight. So
fair enough. Fair enough. Kyle's still a little upset that the Flames found a way to win their last game. You know, he was pissed. He's pissed, but I'm sure the Flames will go back to their losing ways in the very near future. And I say that with also very much sincerity as well. The Devils really are suffering without Jack and Nico. We'll talk about that as the game gets underway and things like that. But coming into this game, Kyle, again, as I mentioned before, Devils losers of their last three games, looking to avoid going to a four-game losing streak as they're in Pittsburgh tonight against the Penguins team who got off to a slow start to begin the year. But since then, and in this point right now, 5-game winning streak. They've really found a way to play the type of hockey that Sullivan and his staff want them to play.
Yeah, and it's about time, right? They had a rough start to the start of the season, and it's still we're still at that point where it's still very early to kind of figure out, especially in this Metro division where it's still very well grouped together, right? And we can't really figure out who's going to take that next step. Obviously, you have the Rangers who have been off to a heater to start the season, but yeah, I'm just kind of curious to see, is this going to sustain for the Penguins? Is this something to be concerned about with the Devils going forward? They were losers last game against the Jets, I believe.
Right. Yep.
And it's a big game. It's a bigger game tonight than you think, right? Because not just in terms of standings, but you're going to find out about this team tonight, especially if you're New Jersey, where you're without, just mentioning before, where you're without Jack, you're without Nico, and you're without
Timo Meier. Yep. Timo Meier's out with a lower body injury tonight.
I think you're going to learn a lot about this team tonight with those injuries.
I think the other thing to keep in mind from the Devils' perspective, and any Devils fan who's in here obviously knows where I'm going with this, is the lack of Devils defense and goaltending. The Devils come in giving up the most goals overall in the National Hockey League. I think it said 69, which is not nice at all. The Devils' defense.
Come on, you're no fun.
Yeah, I know. I'm not any fun. I'm sorry. It's not a statistic you want to be nice in. I'll put it that way. But nonetheless, the Devils' defense has been a major problem, and it was a problem even when the likes of Jack and Nico and Timo were in the lineup. So it's something that now, without that scoring punch there, is being much more exposed. Goaltending has not been where it needs to be. That was a question mark, not just in the playoffs last year when Kyle and I were doing games, but even now. It is still very much a question mark between Vitek Vanacek and Akira Schmid. Vitek will get the start tonight for the Devils, while Tristan Jarry, who I feel like is playing pissed off, Kyle, because clearly the Penguins were trying to get rid of him in the offseason. They couldn't really get anybody else, and so they decided to then re-sign Tristan Jarry.
Are you still, it's Tristan Jarry, and I think at some point, for especially how hot the Penguins have been lately, it can't all be Jarry, right? So at some point, you imagine that they're going to falter down at some point, right? So yes. I don't know. And what's funny too, the name that they just mentioned as they were skating around, Ryan Graves, former Devil, right?
Correct, former Devil. Tonight,
Yeah, so I'm just curious. I'm really just curious how well these Devils are going to play tonight without the top stars on this
Without
team. Always
exactly.
going to have to step up tonight. I think whoever's in goal tonight is going to understand that this is where we're at,
Yeah.
and we have to hold the fort down.
For sure, for sure. And by the way, guys, make sure to leave your score predictions in the chat as well. I have score predictions going until the end of the second period. So make sure you guys get there. And whenever you put it in, one of myself or Kyle will star it, and we'll see if anybody gets it right or close. I don't think I've ever done a game. The closest I've ever seen from someone is that they got the score right, just the wrong team won the game. So like that was the closest that I've seen. But Kyle, what is your score prediction for tonight's game? You can be honest.
I gotta go with Pittsburgh tonight. I'm
It's fair
sorry.
enough.
I think it's really lean. If you're on a here right now and you're going up against a team that's a little bit injury riddled, it's gonna be a lot of back checking tonight.
Yeah.
Seems like for this Devils team, and I think it's gonna be a good game. I don't think it's gonna be a rout per se, but if the Penguins are playing hot, they're playing at home. I might say a little bit different if the Devils were at home in a different situation, but Penguins on home ice tonight. It's Thursday night. I gotta
Yeah.
think that they win this one, maybe 4-2.
I think that's fair. It's understandable to want to go with the team that's playing hot versus a team that's not playing well at all. It's hard for me not to want to pick the Devils because even though they are obviously without three of their best players, the Devils have shown that they do have a lot of scoring depth. And if they can just play a decent game defensively, and that includes the goaltending usually when I say defensively, I think they can pull off an upset. Also, this is kind of setting up for one of those games where we think, well, the Penguins are just going to dominate. They're playing really well and they're playing against a team that they should easily beat. And it ends up not working out that way. And the team that is, inferior, if we can put it, comes out with a strong performance. I'm going to go with the Devils to win 3-2 in overtime. That's going to be the way I look at it.
Yeah.
I think it's possible they could go that way, but it's just kind of a hunch that I'm going with tonight.
No, it could either be it'll be really close, it goes to overtime, and the Devils come on top, or I feel like the Penguins could really. I just don't see a scenario where the Devils just take off tonight. You know what I mean? You'd have to have a quick start if that was going to be the case, and I think that's the only reason why if they get off to a hot start in this game and it does get out of hand, that's the only way I see it really going their way. But other than that, I think it's either the Penguins really take them to this one, or we have a close game that goes to overtime.
For sure. And you were talking about, the Penguins before that. It's not just Jari who's had success. He's 4-0 with a 1.38 goals against average and a .955 save percentage during this 5-game winning streak. But Crosby, 5 goals, 4 assists. Jake Gensel, 4 goals, 5 assists. And Erik Karlsson, 3 goals, 6 assists. So the top guys for Pittsburgh are playing as the top guys. And you're going to need that, especially when you have these winning streaks. That's going to happen. And so I think, again, you're going to see Pittsburgh not heavily rely on their top guys, but certainly something that they're going to want to do going into this one. And it is going to be a challenge. It will be a challenge for the Devils. I think it's going to be a challenge for Pittsburgh as well, because the more games you win in a row, the more that pressure comes up, the more that you got to go from there. A guy I want to keep my eye on, Kyle, from the Devils is Jesper Bratt. 7 goals, 13 assists, 20 points on the year. He has really kind of struggled since both Jack and Nico came out of the lineup. He's a guy that needs to start stepping up. Tyler Toffoli hasn't been able to score as much of late after going on the heater a couple of weeks ago, but definitely another guy. Dawson Mercer finally starting to get going after a slow start. So we'll see what the Devils can do tonight with them being pretty shorthanded, and we'll see if Pittsburgh can keep the winning ways going. But here we go. As players at center ice, puck is dropped, and this game between the Devils and Penguins is officially underway. And Kyle, I like to ask you this all the time, especially when the game starts. What are you kind of looking for from both teams in the early goings here?
The game hasn't started for me yet, so I can't really say much.
That is very
I know it still hasn't started yet. I'm gonna be really behind you, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see, with these guys being out on the Devils side, how quick they can get off to a start here, and if they can maybe take control of the game a little bit and kind of throw Pittsburgh off their game a little bit. And for me, if it's Pittsburgh, I want to see, if with this New Jersey side being a little bit down here, I want to see how well if Pittsburgh can so to speak, just get into the offensive zone, be able to set up quickly, and just you have the guys to do it. And you can cycle all 4 lines with what they have here, and they're a deep team just from what we're seeing here. All the way, Lorzello manning your third line, it's Nieto with Achari, and like it's a deep team in a
Very
sense,
deep.
right? Especially when you go on defense with Letang and Graves there on defense. You got Pettersson with Carlson. Like it's a very deep team. So I'm curious to see how fast they can kind of set up an offensive zone and whether or not they can get things going 5-on-5 and if they're able to apply a lot of pressure.
I think you can make an argument that this might be one of the deeper Penguins teams we've seen in a while. And I think what's so interesting about it when you look at especially that bottom six is that it's a very balanced four lines, if that makes sense. They have a lot of guys that can do a lot of different things. You know, they have different types of roles, a physical line, more of a skill line, more of a grinded out line. And I think that that's what Pittsburgh wanted when you look at the moves they made in the offseason. They wanted to have much more of a balanced attack. You saw last year, a lot of times when they were struggling, they just were very, very top heavy with guys like Crosby, Malkin, and Gensel. But I think now with a more balanced roster, it just allows their top guys to have a little less pressure and be able to generate more success at a relaxed pace here. As we're just about 2 minutes in, both teams kind of just playing the puck around, not much action early on here. Should also mention, by the way, we do have it's a big time hit there. We did have one game that did happen earlier today, and that was one of the Global Series games, and that was, Kyle, a phenomenal game, phenomenal finish as the Senators won. What was it, 5-4? Yes, 5-4 over the Detroit Red Wings, and Tim Stützle with an impressive goal with 1 second to go in overtime to win that game for the Senators.
Because I didn't get a chance to watch the game today, which is unfortunate, but I believe you. I'm gonna have to go look and see his goal. Yeah,
it was honestly a very, very impressive goal. Good win for the Senators, who desperately needed that win, and kind of a good start to the Global Series. As now Tyler Toffoli with a shot that is kicked aside by Jari. Michael McLeod keeps it in, leaves it over for Siegenthaler. Tried to get it top of the point, and now a potential 3-on-1 for Pittsburgh. Crosby with Gensel and Rust. Crosby to Gensel, and the puck bounced over his stick, and the Devils will go and retrieve it. Oh, a missed opportunity there for Jake Gensel. Couldn't get the puck on his stick. Would have had a golden chance to potentially score, as Dougie Hamilton tried to make a pass that was intercepted. Another 2-on-1 for Pittsburgh as they come in. Crosby with a shot, and that one is fought off by Vitek Vanacek. Now a drive there from Carlson is stopped and covered on the glove of Vanacek. So, Kyle, one thing to look at from New Jersey is that they give up a ton of odd man rushes defensively. In their loss last week to the Colorado Avalanche, when they lost 6-3, they gave up a total of 10 odd man rushes in that game, and they've already given up 2 back-to-back there, but luckily Vanacek was able to deny them. But again, just lackadaisical in the defensive zone for New Jersey.
Just saw the 3-on-1 there, but it looked like Siegenthaler though got back. Like it looked like he kind of got it was Gensel there, I believe. So I don't think it was necessarily him mismanaging the puck, but you're right. I think that's got to be concerning, especially going forward, and maybe it's something where they'll have to look at the deadline. If this is something that continues, you got to take down those odd man rushes. Like if it's becoming a problem this early in the season, that's just not going to go away come playoff time. If that's something that, hey, they still have to fight for. They're 7-6-1, and it's something you got to think about.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, the Devils got to come in with a little bit of confidence in terms of playing the Penguins. They went 4-0 last year against Pittsburgh, winning 2 of those games on the road. So they definitely of late have had the Penguins number, which is, if you're a younger Devils fan, you're not used to seeing the Devils actually having a good amount of success against a Crosby and Malkin-led Penguins team. But I think also we have to keep in mind that last year was a pretty disastrous season, I think, to be fair, for Pittsburgh. And I mean, they've certainly gotten off to a good start here in the early goings, as they currently have 16 points and currently in 5th place in the Metropolitan Division. But, it's not about how you start, it's how you finish. As now Curtis Lazar tried to feed it over to Haula, who was all alone in the slot, but now Pittsburgh comes the other way. Malkin up the center of the ice, drops it to Carlson. He lost it, intercepted by Max Willman. As Willman fires it in, and that shot is kicked away, or at least it was originally going to be kicked away by Jari, but it'll cover for a face-off here. And so the big thing...
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. I was just gonna say they were just showing the save percentage and the goals against average for Jari and Vanacek, and man, I think Vanacek was at 3.45 goals against average, and he had like a 887 save percentage. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's a rough start to the year. And then they showed Jari like him being 6-5 still to start the year, and he had a really good goals against average though. So you can kind of like he was at 2.32, I think, goals against average, and it shows that like maybe it's not just him and net, maybe it's the guys in front for Pittsburgh, right? If you have a 2.32 goals against average and you're 6-5, that's got to tell you a lot maybe about that Pittsburgh team, thinking that, hey, maybe it's more or less the defensive side of that team that's kind of letting them down a little bit.
I think that's a very good point, Kyle, because, for a lot of goaltenders, sometimes, we get on them a little bit too much and we're a little bit more unfair. But I think you also have to look at it that some amount of the goaltender's success also does come from the team's defense, being able to make plays. And even when they don't get the puck out of the zone or make a play with their stick, they at least put the goaltender in a position where if a shot does get on net, it's a lot easier for them to control. It's a lot easier to see it, and they're able to make a play. And I think that, especially when you look at it from the Devils' perspective, giving up as many odd man rushes as they have is not great. Is now an opportunity. Backhand try by McLeod is kicked out by Jari there as McLeod looking for a surprising goal off a nice feed from Bratt. Also should mention, by the way, Colin Miller is making his Devils debut, as now it's a Foley with a shot that just goes wide of Jari there. Yeah, Colin Miller, who was traded from Dallas to the Devils in the offseason. He was out up until this point with an upper body injury, and he was finally activated off IR prior to the game against Winnipeg on Tuesday, and now he's in the lineup for the first time. Granted, the Devils are going 11 forwards, 7 defensemen, so a little bit more defensive setup here tonight. But nonetheless, Colin Miller gets a chance to make his Devils debut as now Holtz feeds it in front to Mercer that gets blocked. Scramble in front, and the Penguins are able to get to it. As now they'll look to try to see if they can get an opportunity here as now number 13 loses the puck. Holtz intercepts it second for New Jersey. And now here comes Mercer slowly the other way, and he'll dump it in. And Kyle, I wanted to get your thoughts on this about Dawson Mercer. He's gotten off to a slow start. He has a couple goals over the last couple of games, but clearly the point production and the production in general has just not been there so far for the still young 21-year-old. He is a restricted free agent at season's end. Is this something, if you're a Devils fan, is this something to necessarily worry about, even though it's still in the early goings of the year, especially when you look to hopefully try to keep him long-term after the season?
Well, it's early because you have to think that it's a year for him, right? It's not necessarily that the front office has to worry about it. You got to see what he does with this team. You now have high expectations for after seeing them go into that second round playoff series against the Hurricanes. Now he's in the final year of his deal. It's like, okay, now it's another prove it deal where it's like, hey, we saw, I don't know what his stats were last year, but hey, if you want to be that type of guy, go out there and prove it, right? So you mentioned he's an RFA.
I got to cut you off, Kyle, for a second because Russ just scored on a backhand top shelf over the shoulder of Vanacek on a partial breakaway, and the Penguins strike first. It's 1-0.
Okay, well, I'm probably about a minute behind you, so then I'll get it soon.
It's fine.
I cannot believe how far behind I am.
The technology's not working tonight. And Vanacek, you can kind of look from his body language there. I think it's something that maybe he probably was hoping he was going to get. But Brian Rust, just a beautiful backhand goal there. And the Penguins are off to a good start here, just almost 7 minutes in. As just a moment ago, they almost scored on an open net. But then Rust scores his 8th of the year.
That's bad on Dougie Hamilton's part, too. Come on. You let them, you're the only guy there, and it's Rust right there off to your right. What? You can't all of a sudden... You got to be able to back check, and you have to see that he's right over there, right? That's your man. So that's
for sure.
Part,
no, I mean Dougie Hamilton doesn't really play defense, so I mean we're unfortunately asking him to do a lot more than he's for some reason capable of doing. Sure. So not great. Dougie makes a lot of mistakes defensively for whatever reason, and that was just another example as he gets burned, and Brian Rust goes in easily for a goal, and Penguins got the 1-0 lead. Brian Rust, who, got to be honest, at first didn't seem like he was very well liked in Pittsburgh, but I think over the last year and a half, I think he started to finally live up to the contract that he was given.
Back a little bit, yeah. It was a good move though. Like for his part, it was a quick move, quick backhand. Didn't give Vanecek a lot of time to react, and we got a 1-0 game. Hey, we got a good game Saturday night actually too for you guys. You got a rematch of round 1 between.
Oh yeah, we did. Devils are at home against the red hot. I should mention red hot New York Rangers, and we have a commercial break at the moment. I mean it's going to be tough. I feel like every game for the Devils to this point is going to be tough, especially when you're as depleted as they are. Everything's going to feel like that it's just going to be a major task. And obviously not off to the start that you want if you're New Jersey now that 1-0. I don't know if we saw this comment before. Faggio, big-time Jets fan. GG's on Tuesday. GG's to you guys. You guys were the better team for sure. And, good win for them. The Jets have actually been playing pretty well in the month of November. So they're starting to find their groove a little bit.
They're doing well.
They're doing very well. Timo Meier now out day to day with an undisclosed injury. So, things just continue to tank in terms of like the good vibes that maybe we had when the season started.
Are you worried about Meier's contract now with the way that this season has started and the way I'm not sure how it started for him?
No, it started off slow. He got benched for a third period in the loss against Florida, but he was on a 3-game goal streak when he got hurt. So, it's fine now. It's not that I'm upset that he got hurt from the standpoint of we need people healthy. We need this team to get back to where it was because we were talking about how much depth this team has, and I think you're starting to see more that this team's depth is good when everyone's healthy. That if you're asking then this said depth to then basically be your top guys, you're not going to get what you're looking for, if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. I was going to finish the question that you asked me about Mercer. Just to kind of wrap that up, it's on him this season to produce, right? Mm-hmm. He's the guy on the contract year. Yes, he's 22. Yes, you obviously don't want to lose him, but it is on him to perform. If he doesn't perform at the highest level and the Devils don't have the best year, they might look at that and go, well, maybe you're not worth keeping around. By the way, he's an RFA, like you mentioned. So it's not like you're going to lose him completely where somebody's going to have to go out and match whatever, or you guys will have to match whatever contract he's offered, right?
Right.
And if you end up losing him in the process, well, there's going to be picks that are going to come that way anyway through the RFA process. So it's not like you're going to lose them for nothing.
And the other thing to keep in mind is that how often do we really see RFAs go to another team? It's just that because no team, even if you don't have a lot of picks.
Matthew Tkachuk.
That's a good point. All right, that's it. But that's one of those exceptions to it, I guess. I mean, the closest that we had before Tkachuk was the whole Sebastian Aho ordeal with Montreal. If you remember that a couple of years ago, he was an RFA.
Yeah.
And Montreal threw out an offer, and the Hurricanes were like, "No, that's not."
Kotkaniemi too was an RFA.
Well, that's the funny thing is that Kotkaniemi then roles reversed. But here's the thing: the difference between Kotkaniemi and Aho is somewhat wide. Thank you, Kyle.
I got you.
But yeah, I mean, it doesn't happen often. But I think from Mercer's perspective, I think a lot of people are going to look at it and say it is still early in the year. And I think you look at that with the Devils and look at any team right now and say that it's still early. Unless you're Vegas, which you kind of feel like they're already playing at about as high of a level as you could possibly think of.
Okay, let me ask you something. As I have about 12 minutes here. You're probably way ahead of me.
We have 12:20 to go in the first period.
Yep. Oh, I'm actually not that far behind.
So you're actually pretty close.
Oh, well, there's icing or whatever they called something.
Yeah,
anyway, my question was, if they lose tonight, you're going to be 7-7-1.
Yeah.
How much concern are you going to have for this team going forward if they're 500 at this point in the season?
I mean, I'm concerned. I'm very concerned.
Jump.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm very concerned now. Losing tonight is only just going to increase what I'm already feeling.
Right.
Because I've talked about it before on my podcast, which if you guys haven't yet, go check out Devil's State of Mind. I've talked about it multiple times I've said this, that even when the Devils were healthy offensively, the problem is that the defensive problems and goaltending was still there. It wasn't like it wasn't there. It's just that we were scoring a lot more, so it didn't look as bad. We would say, yeah, they didn't play all that well defensively, but it didn't matter. We won like 5-3 or 5 like that's the way we looked at it. And so now with them being as shorthanded as they are, while yes, having Jack, Nico, and Timo in the lineup would certainly help this team, it's not going to solve all of the problems that they have. And so I think the worrisome part is this. How long are the Devils themselves going to allow these issues to happen without making some form of a change? Whether that is trading for somebody or bringing up a guy like Simon Nemec, who's been playing well in the AHL to start the year, or making some form of a coaching change, not necessarily fiery Lindy Ruff, but maybe like an assistant coach and trying to get something else going. Like, how long does Tom Fitzgerald, the general manager of the Devils, allow this to go before things really are in danger of spiraling out of control? If that, if you know what I mean.
Well, that was going to be my next question: is how much faith do you have now in Lindy Ruff? Now them being 500, like when is it time to pull? Well, hey, if the Oilers can find a way to win 2 straight, if the Oilers somehow get on a run, right, after they fire Jay Woodcroft, that makes you wonder now for a lot of the teams, like perfect example here, like New Jersey, if Lindy Ruff ain't that guy and he can't get this locker room together, then, maybe it's time for a change.
And the issue is that, the Devils signed him to what was reported as a multi-year extension, which people look at as like 4 or 5 years. I say, for all we know, it's 1 or 2 years. It's not like they, I don't know. They don't really give you an idea as to what coaches' contracts are, but no, I mean it's a concern right now. Lindy Ruff is doing a lot of things that I saw last year and the year before that are very frustrating, like not trusting a lot of his young forwards to make plays, or keeping the same veteran guys playing even after they make a boatload of mistakes. Like basically not doing a whole lot to really change up what's going on in terms of trying to find a spark. And if that's how it continues to be, then in my opinion, then Lindy Ruff does need to be fired, because you need something else then. I don't know if that means you got to go out and hire somebody right away. Like, I'll give you an example. Jay Woodcroft is actually available now as a head coach. I've had people say to me, would the Devils fire Lindy Ruff to bring in Jay Woodcroft? I got to be honest with you. I don't know if that would necessarily be the right move, because he just got fired from Edmonton and things did not go well at the end there.
It's not even the fact that it was I refuse to believe that it was Jay Woodcroft's fault, right?
Okay.
Listen, the amount of games that they started early in that year where Jack Campbell was in net, I mean, come on.
Right.
Like, they're paying the guy $80,000 now in the AHL, like for every game, and he's sitting on the bench opening the doors, right? So, I mean, I like to believe that for a lot of the games that Jack Campbell was in, he was god-awful. Stuart Skinner wasn't helping out either. And defensively, they were terrible. So it's not like it was Jay Woodcroft's fault. He can't go out there and tell Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl to just all of a sudden just, start being the guys that they used to be again, because they clearly haven't been themselves this season. So it's not like I don't think it was his fault. And it certainly wasn't the reason why he should have been fired. If anything, Ken Holland should be fired before Jay Woodcroft.
I don't know how Ken Holland still has a job with Edmonton.
It's crazy he still has a job.
It's nuts.
So, I think the opposite. I think if it starts to spiral out of control, then maybe you do need a fresh face, and a guy like Jay Woodcroft who has experience, just like Lindy Ruff. And I think Lindy Ruff's time, to be honest, is coming to an end in the NHL as a coach.
I thought it was.
I don't know.
Here's the thing, Kyle. We were kind of talking about it a bunch last year, in terms of like Lindy Ruff's contract status and things like that. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I didn't think that Lindy Ruff's career was going to end after last season, because even with the Devils' success, I felt like that he was getting to a point in his career where, like, he just needed to like take a break or, stop.
Sure.
That is something that now I'm seeing it, and you're wondering to yourself, maybe it's Travis Green that could be the help. He was a former head coach. He did have some success in Vancouver. I say some. Okay. Like he did have some success, and he wants to get back into coaching, and now he's an assistant with the Devils. Like this is where, like, there are options. But the other thing to keep in mind, I keep saying this to people, Lindy Ruff is the first and still only coach that Tom Fitzgerald has ever hired. Is this is a reason why he hasn't maybe made a change like that because he really, really, truly believes that he wants his first guy to be the right guy. If you know what I mean, if you get what I'm saying.
I understand. No, I get what you mean. Yeah,
I'm not trying to defend it.
You,
I'm just going for like what I'm trying to like look at from a whole.
They're back. No, I get it. So I guess then my question to you would be, if the Devils didn't make the playoffs last year, does Lindy Ruff have a job today?
Repeat the question one more time. I'm trying to understand it.
If the Devils didn't make the playoffs last year, does Lindy Ruff currently have a job as the head coach of the Devils?
No, he does not. I said, and right. Kyle, we talked about it. I said at the beginning of last season, because people were asking me when I was giving previews to people about it. Wait, how is Pittsburgh desperate for a win? I don't recall. Did we say that they were? I mean, they've won 5 in a row.
No. If anything, the Devils are desperate.
The Devils are way more desperate to get a win for nothing else other than a confidence boost. It's not even like a standings thing. It's like this team needs to get a win somehow to get themselves into a better funk. Because now Seagathaler with a shot, and that one is kicked aside by Jari. Really good chance there from Seagathaler. Probably the best one of the night right there. But Jari makes the save. It's the pinned comment. I did not see the pinned comment.
At the beginning? They are kind of desperate. Yeah, well, I know that's the very beginning because I made it earlier. But, well, I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong for saying it's the first one at the beginning. I'll bring it up. As both teams were desperate for tonight.
We got 8:28 and ticking, by the way, to go here in the first. Again, 1-0 Pittsburgh thanks to a Brian Rust goal. As both teams are desperate for a win. All right, fair enough.
Oh, yeah, no. I don't care. I think Pittsburgh's desperate every single game this year to win because they have to make this work.
That's fair. As now Gensel just whipped on a shot.
Kyle Dubas threw everything at Erik Karlsson, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to squeeze out the last bit of Crosby and Malkin and Letang for that matter, right? And you got Tristan Jarry as your goaltender. You better start winning games this year. You better start finding a way to get into the playoffs.
Yep.
So maybe not necessarily tonight because they've been on a heater,
right?
But you better make this work this season.
You did. I mean, it's kind of like it was kind of like Boston last year. It's like you better make it work, but. Again, for Boston, they're toying with us as they've gotten off to a fantastic start. Penguins, by the way, are going to their first power play of the night. Kevin Ball just went to the sin bin 2 minutes for hooking. So the Penguins will get an opportunity here to double the lead. So, yeah, we're having fun. But honestly,
great.
This is great. Yeah, we're having a blast. As that one's blocked as Eric Holla tried to get it out. That's a guy that's been very quiet of late for the Devils. I mean, I know he plays on the third line, but still, like Eric Hall has been very much quiet. As now Michael McLeod with an interception looks to try to get on a step here, one-on-one shorthanded. McLeod still with it, leaves it for Hall with a shot that just goes wide of Jari. Might have actually been tipped. Nonetheless, it goes out of play. So pretty good chance shorthanded for the Devils there. Just couldn't really get it on net for most part. Should also mention, thanks to our good friend RJ as always. It's already, the Habs with a 2-0 lead just halfway through the first against the Golden Knights. So they're off to a good start tonight.
God, that wasn't the other night against Calgary.
No, it wasn't.
That could have been the other night. That could have been the other night.
You were hoping it was the other night.
I was. I really was. I hope
Fair enough.
Every goddamn game this year. I do. Well, Steven's mentioning here that Dubas is going to make some moves at the deadline, and if he does, like, if you're Dubas, what kind of moves should you make? I think just seeing Jari's stats at the beginning. Well, so seeing Jari's stats at the beginning, right? He's got a good goals against average, right? Blah blah blah. I don't know. Maybe not defensively. Maybe they need another goal scorer to play on that top line with Crosby and Gensel. I don't know. Like, but you're right. Like, what can they do with what sort of cap space they have?
It's going to be tough, but Kyle Dubas, as we saw in Toronto, has a pretty good ability to make some good let's call it big headline moves, even with very little cap space. So it wouldn't shock me, but it's also kind of like, I mean, it is early in the year, so it's like, what does Pittsburgh really need? And when you're on a 5-game heater, do you really feel like you need anything? Like, you just need to keep racking up wins. I mean,
I agree.
That's the way I look at it. So 25 seconds to go here. As now the Devils 2-on-1 shorthanded. Holla leaves it to Lazar. Lazar shot and he scores! Curtis Lazar! He beats Tristan Jarry shorthanded, and the Devils have tied it at 1.
That was my fault. I should have turned down the sound.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Oh, god damn it.
Kyle, am I still like the loudest guy when it comes to doing the oh god, I feel bad.
I was the other week actually when the Flames were playing Toronto. Really? I was loud because that game went crazy.
I love that. Tristan Jarry, he kind of fell back into his crease a little bit, and he gives up that goal through the 5-hole, and Curtis Lazar ties it at 1, and that was a big needed goal there.
Turnover. What a brutal turnover.
That was a bad turnover.
And that's a terrible goal. That's a bad goal for
But Jarry. You know what? I think if you're New Jersey, you're going to have to get goals like that. And that was ugly. That's from your fourth line. It was shorthanded, but nonetheless, it gives the Devils a little bit of momentum here as the game is tied at 1 thanks to a Curtis Lazar laser beam. It was nice. The former Canuck with a goal.
Oh, Jarry, you got to cover that 5-hole. What are you doing?
The 5-hole. If you guys haven't seen, I would highly recommend. Go look at this goal because the 5-hole is huge.
It was that open. It was so
open.
Open.
And do you see how far he went back into his crease?
I know.
He was basically in the net.
Because I think he was expecting it to go to Holla, right?
I think that's what he was hoping for. Probably. As that one deflected by Malkin just goes wide of Vanacek. By the way, Eric Holla, who I was talking about before, got an assist, a lone assist on the Lazar goal, 3rd of the year for Curtis Lazar. And we have a tied hockey game here, Kyle.
Woo! My prediction still stands tall.
Kyle's having a good time because it's not one of his teams. He's having fun.
Oh, even if Calgary plays this year, I'm rooting for the other team. This is great.
He's just yes, keep scoring.
Well, maybe at intermission we can talk about the trade rumors that Zadorov might go to New Jersey. Yes,
we will definitely talk about that. I think we also should talk a little bit about Patrick Kane. You know, there's clearly some noise going around with that. Should be mentioned a little bit. Yeah, I know you don't like Patrick Kane. I'm aware.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people do.
He's okay. Don't love him, don't hate him.
Yeah, I know even Blackhawks fans now who hate him. It's crazy. It's he's just became such an
Blackhawks fans just hate their own organization right now because of the
investigation. 4:38 to go here in the first game. Tied at 1 now, thanks to a most recent shorthanded goal from the Devils' Curtis Lazar. So, yeah, a little bit of let's just call it like it is. That was a very soft goal that Jarry gave up.
No, it was a very soft goal. He was expecting that pass all the way. And so the question, and you mentioned Kane there.
Yeah, we can talk about it now. We got a little commercial break.
So what I read is
you read nonsense, probably.
Well, it was because apparently he met with the Leafs, but then it came out, I don't know if it was yesterday or today, that it was all false, that he didn't meet with the Leafs. And I'm like, okay, I don't know who to believe anymore, right?
Yeah, we don't know who to believe.
He met with the Leafs. Apparently Florida's really in on it. I know Dallas has been on it. I don't know if there's any other teams who have really been on it. Buffalo reportedly very much wants to do it, especially now with Thompson out. And they said, and look, the thing with Thompson is that they said he might be out. They said he's going to be out for a long time, which terrifies me. Mm-hmm.
If it's a long time, what?
Why does it terrify you?
Well, because I want the Sabres to make the playoffs. I want this streak to end. Also, no, and also I do like Thompson. I like watching him play. Also, his brother is on the Devils, so there's a little bit of that. But
okay. But to answer the question, I think he ends up in Florida.
I go with Toronto. I just for some stupid reason I think he ends up in Toronto because he's going to do the same thing. But the Rangers are out, by the way. In case anybody was thinking of a reunion, the New York Post yesterday said that the reunion is not happening.
Right. Anyway, I say Florida, and I don't know what you say, but
I said Toronto.
Toronto. Okay.
I'll go with Toronto. Thoughts on the Whalers' white jerseys? I think they're great. I have one issue. They're only wearing it once. And I don't like that. I have a problem with that. You know what I mean?
They need to wear it more often.
Yeah. What's going on, Andrew? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well.
Hey, Kyle. What's up?
Thank you all. Thank you all, by the way, for hanging out with us tonight. Really do appreciate it. It was Kyle calls it last minute, which is fair. We didn't have. I don't think we had a game on for tonight until this morning, and I was just like, yeah, what the heck? Let's do it.
Yeah, so I was just kind of like, okay, I guess I'll put it together. Like, not a big deal.
Well, Kyle asked me, he's like, would you like me to come on with you? And I'm like,
true, I did.
Yes.
I did. Well, if you want a company, I'm always here to.
Yeah, I appreciate the company, Kyle. And again, this is our first regular season game together, so.
I know, and the next one will probably be our Devils Flames on a Saturday.
That's true. That'll be Saturday, December 9th. 9th. Yes.
I thought it was this month, but no, you're right. I think
it is December 9th. The first of those two matchups will be in New Jersey. Second one will be in Calgary.
Big Devils fan that night. Big Devils fan.
Both nights.
Big Devils fan that night.
Big Devils fan. Kyle's gonna try to get a Devils jersey and wear it on stream.
That's a bit of a stretch, but I'll find something.
He'll be looking at former Flame Tyler Toffoli score 2 goals against the Flames that night.
Do you think Dubas is wild to do this if he trades for Fleury and he treats him as a backup?
That would be mean. That's not cool.
Cool.
Honestly, I think Fleury should be like, you know what? No, I don't want that. I don't want to go back. Screw you guys.
Oh, okay. Game's been good so far. It's starting to heat up. Like, good shots.
It slowed down a little bit over the last couple of minutes. Other than that goal by Curtis Lazar shorthanded, I feel like this period has gone slow. Maybe I'm just.
It's been like average. It's gone pretty good.
Should also mention, by the way, Kyle, John Marino, the former Penguin, who was traded prior to the start of last season, he comes into this game against his former team on a 5-game point streak, has a goal and 4 assists, playing some really good hockey right now.
No pressure whatsoever.
No.
And Andrew's asking where your red wine is tonight. I even forgot to ask that.
Well, here's the thing. Our new batch will be out soon, okay? So just give me time and it'll be here, I promise.
Okay.
I'm not making excuses. It sounds like I'm making excuses, but I'm not.
It sounds like excuses. What are your thoughts on Yager retiring? Is he done?
He retired? Or are you talking about his jersey getting retired?
I got to look it up.
Yager's jersey will be retired by the Penguins. Can't say the same about the 15 other teams he played for, but certainly the Penguins will retire Yager's number. Yager is still currently playing professional hockey over in his native country of Czechia or the Czech Republic.
Well, the Penguins are going to retire Yager's number on February 18th.
Right. That much we know.
Yeah, that's all I know.
So, and I mean, it's about time. I don't know why it took this long. I really don't know why it took this long. Now I think about it.
Good. What a legend. I love Yager.
He's still playing.
Unbelievable. He's unbelievable.
He's still playing. That's the thing that gets me. He's still playing professional hockey.
He's crazy. I love it, though. I honestly love it.
Is he the Gordie Howe of this generation, or are we just not going that far?
I wouldn't go that far, but he's an animal.
That's true. Got about 2 minutes to go here in the first period of our game. Devils, Penguins. Penguins scored first thanks to a Brian Rust breakaway backhand goal. And then Curtis Lazar, shorthanded, got the game tied at 1. Again, just kind of a bad goal to give up if you're Tristan Jarry. I love how I was kind of giving him compliments, and then he goes out and does what Tristan Jarry does, and that is give up a soft goal. But hopefully not for me, but hopefully for Pittsburgh, that's the only one that only weak one he gives up. Shots on goal, by the way, Kyle, are even at 8 apiece. So not a whole lot of shots on goal here in this first period.
That's what I have as well. That's what I got.
As by the way, should also mention Penguins rocking their old I don't know if you call it retro, but
I like them.
Uniforms. I think these are great. I think they should be full time.
I agree.
They look cool. They're sleek. These are the ones that Mario Lemieux and Yager wore in the mid '90s. I think it was the mid '90s.
Also, you're getting asked. You're getting asked how you doing, Neil.
How's things? I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I'm happy to be doing a live watch along, just in general. For me, it doesn't really matter what game I do. I'm just happy to be doing it, happy to be hanging out with Kyle and all of you guys as we get a stoppage of play here with 44 and a half seconds.
Can we call something right now?
You can call anything.
Okay, so Calgary's not making the playoffs this year, right? If for some reason the Devils don't make it, we have to pick a team and we have to roll with it in the playoffs.
Like even during live watch-alongs, do we have to just do them?
Yeah, we have to do.
We didn't do a Kraken game last year. That was the only disappointment you and I had. We were both.
They're West Coast.
That's true.
Right. So
they played like I think 1 or 2 games at 8:00. I think.
So closer to the playoffs, if for some reason the Devils are not in it, we have to pick a team and we have to commit. I think that's what we have to do.
I think let's do that. I think that should let's do that. So if both of our teams, more likely Kyle's than mine, but it could still happen with the Devils for sure. Kyle doesn't want to make the playoffs. Like if they made it, he would probably be upset about it.
I'd burn a house down. Yeah, I'd be dead.
3 seconds, 2-1. One last shot there is gloved down by Jari, and that'll do it for the first period of play here in Pittsburgh. Both teams found the back of the net, and so we remain tied after 20 minutes. So, Kyle, really quickly here, just your thoughts after the first 20 minutes from both teams.
Well, it's been a better start than our last live watch along where there was actually goals that were happening. But overall, it's been good. I mean, just a bad goal to give up on Jari's end. And I still thought it was a great move for Brian Rust. And hey, if the Devils can just find a way to just keep it close and they don't let this game get away from them, don't make stupid mistakes, don't make stupid turnovers like the Penguins just did, then you're going to be fine going forward and you're going to be able to compete. And honestly, if the Devils can get this to overtime, especially with the amount of injuries that they've had, that's got to be a win in your books.
Yeah, I think when you look at it from Pittsburgh's perspective, I thought they got off to a good start. Obviously, they took advantage of one of the several odd man rushes that they got in that first period, and they made the Devils pay. And then I give the Devils credit. They were actually very aggressive on that penalty kill offensively. There was at least 2 or 3 times where they got the puck in. Pittsburgh was just making very bad passes, and the Devils finally took advantage of it. And you have a guy that you don't expect to score a lot in Curtis Lazar find a way to get the puck in the back of the net. And sometimes you need that when you're a team that's struggling and you need guys to step up. Sometimes it's guys like your fourth line to kind of get going. So good. I think it was a solid period from both teams, and we'll see how things progress. But before we get into our first intermission report, I think it is only fair that we step aside for the first time tonight to get our first word from our sponsors. Kyle, I will take care of it, so do not fret, my friend, and we will see you.
We're doing 2 commercials. We're doing 2.
We are doing 2, and we'll see you in a little bit. So Stay tuned. And what is going on, everybody? Is again Kyle along with your boy Neil. We are here at the first intermission report of our game between the Devils and Penguins. And after 20 minutes of play, we still have a tie hockey game. Both teams got themselves a goal in the first period. Brian Rust scored for the Penguins his 8th of the year, and Curtis Lazar, shorthanded, tied the game up and won his 3rd of the year. So I think it's fair to say that was a fairly even first 20 minutes, Kyle.
Say give or take, as Jimmy's checking in. What's going on, man?
Jimmy Finizzi, the host of From the Blue Seats, a New York Rangers podcast. Things are going very well in Ranger Town. I really hate that I have to say that.
I think he's also doing the Saturday game actually with the Rangers and the Devils.
He is going to do the Saturday game. It's going to be a good one, Jimmy. I know you're looking forward to it. I'm sure if you had the opportunity to, you would go. I ain't spending $150 to go to that game. It's a lot.
Oh, that's what it is for sitting up in the top section at a Leaf game on any night.
I think for a preseason, I went to a preseason game for the Leafs last year against the Habs, and I think it was like a decent. I think it was like $50, which I thought to myself at that time was extreme for a preseason game.
It's nothing. It's nothing.
Somebody told me, I think one of the fans was like, $50, that's actually cheap. I'm like, that's messed up.
Then again, the NHL just likes to take our money and run with it.
Especially in Canada.
Gotta love the currency exchange.
Oh, for sure. But nonetheless, so the big thing that, Kyle, I know you mentioned it before, I ain't spending that money. No, bro, like, it ain't worth it. Save your money for something else. Save your money for the Stadium Series game against the Islanders in February. That's what you do.
Good call. Continue.
Way better. Time with your money for sure. But Kyle, you wanted to talk about it when we were going through the first period. Let's talk about it. So the big news last week, because right now we're not getting a whole lot, is not terribly.
Well, last week technically it was Jay Woodcroft. Let's be honest. That was big. Yeah,
fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. But the other big news that came out was let's just call it like it is, through his agent on social media.
Yes.
Nikita Zadorov has requested a trade from the Flames. Now, let's get this out of the way. The Flames don't have to do anything. They literally, and I think Frank Saravalli also said it as well, that the Flames are not going to rush this. They're going to take as much time as they want. They're going to just allow this to go the way that they want it to, wait for somebody to make a really good move, offer, and then they'll make the trade. So, Kyle, I want to kind of give you more or less the floor here because obviously you are a Flames fan and you have more insight on the Zadorov situation, so take it away.
Well, we broke 2 on Tuesday. There was a report that came out that the doors are open for Lindholm, Zadorov, Tanev, and Hanifin, that they're ready to listen. And for Zadorov, like it's still the same teams. It's the Leafs, it's the Canucks, it's the Devils. But you're right. Like they are just waiting to see what kind of offers they're going to get. They don't have to rush this. They know they're going to go. I think it was pretty crappy on the side of the agent's part for Zadorov. It's like you're telling us something that we already knew was going to happen. And now it's just to make things super awkward in the locker room, right? So now you kind of have to like somewhat speed up the process a little bit, but it's something that they're going to take their time with. They want to get the highest value possible. And now if you're Craig Conroy, you not only have to think about those 4 guys, but you have to think about the rest of the team and what kind of a team you want to shape going forward into next season. Personally, I'm shipping Markstrom and Kadri out if there's a deal there as well too, because Kadri said too that I don't know if I can't remember if it was on online or if it was through one of the reporters, but he basically said that when he signed this long-term deal, he was ready to contend and he wasn't really ready to have a rebuild. So if this is what it's going to be, not that I think it's going to be a rebuild anyway in the first place. I think it's going to be a very quick turnaround going into next season. Then might as well get Kadri out too. If that's what he wants, then let's grant him that. And I know there's probably some teams like, hey, if things don't go well with New Jersey, you might want to explore a guy like John Gibson or a Jacob Markstrom, somebody who can start for you guys if you were trying to creep into the playoffs and you need a starting goaltender. Then I think the doors are open for Jacob Markstrom as well too. Basically, anything is on the table for this team. And for me, like, I'm really excited about it, to be honest. I'm like, I listen, this season's a wash. I've fully accepted that and it's gone. But I'm personally excited about what's to come, because if you can get everything done this season, if you can get a good package for Lindholm, if you can get it out for Hanifin, for Tanev, for Zadorov, see what else you can get rid of. If Markstrom goes, if Kadri wants to go too, if you can get some really good packages, especially for the draft this year, maybe next year too. And with the way that things have started out this year, the young guys for this team have played very well. They have been the stars of this team. Connor Zari's been fantastic. They brought up Martin Pospisil. They brought down Matthew Coronado originally just because he wasn't really vibing with that bad negativity that was happening at the beginning of the season, and he just wanted ice time. So he's going to play some ice time down in the AHL, and same thing for Dustin Wolf. You don't want to rush the process with him, although eventually I would like to see him maybe later on in the season get at least 10 games in for this guy at least, because you know he's going to be your goaltender for the future. So yeah, like I think it's going to be a very quick turnaround for this team. And whether it be goaltending wise, if it's Vladar or Markstrom, I think one of them has to go. I think defensively, if you have to get, like, if when Zadorov and Tanev go, I think it's only going to speak good things. And now you're going to get younger guys coming in. You'll get assets from that. Maybe somebody else is ready to play right away, ready to commit a little bit more and try to make some more money on a new contract. And then forward-wise too, like, you're giving that time a little bit more for a lot of other guys to play on this team to fit with Jonathan Huberdeau, because whether you like it or not, you have to make it work, right? And it's just like Jimmy says here, obviously the concern is Jonathan Huberdeau, but if you're not going to get him back to the way he was. The problem with Huberdeau is the reason why he did so well in Florida was because he had a goal scorer with Alexander Barkov. That's why he had a shitload of assists anyway in that season where he had like 115, 120 points. So you need a guy that can strictly score on this team. Elias Lindholm is not that guy. And that's why they're not gelling well. And he's not really, he's still trying to adjust to this Western Conference because it is a different playing style, and I get it. But now you have an opportunity where, hey, if Coronado breaks out into this goal scorer, or if Zari or some of these younger guys who can come up and just play more minutes with these guys and start gelling a little bit more, this is the year to find out what you really have with this team and its young core going forward. So to wrap it up and giving you the floor back, I'm excited personally for next year. I think you can get a lot of assets, and if you get them at the highest value possible, there's got to be something for that, especially for going into the offseason and attracting guys to this team in the future.
I mean, first of all, I think you explained that very well. Yeah, no, Kyle, this is Kyle just trying to get it out. He's just trying to get it out of his system and everything like that. And I get that. And look, I think when you look at it from Calgary's perspective, I think it's good that they finally decided that this is what they have to do, that they can't go a little bit here, a little bit here. You have to either be all in on one area or one in on the other. Calgary doesn't really have anybody right now. Markstrom is all right, but other than that, they don't have that guy who can score. Malmstrom? Am I missing? Or are you talking about Markstrom?
It's just Markstrom. Yep.
Markstrom. Absolutely spot on call. No, I mean, like, if the Flames have decided that the rebuild is now, like, this is what we got to do, then you got to go full in. And if that means you got to trade off everybody and the sun to do it, do it. Like, that's literally what I think would be good. And I think, and Kyle, I feel like you could speak on this a little bit more from a fan's perspective. I feel like Calgary Flames fans would be much happier if the Flames just said, all right, this is what we're doing. We're gonna do a rebuild. It's gonna take time. It's gonna take patience, but just give us the opportunity to do what we have to do, get the assets that we can get, and then with the young guys, just kind of go from there.
Eventually, Craig Conroy is going to have to come out and say, this is the direction that we're going in. You need to start telling these guys what's happening. Maybe halfway through the season, you need to start figuring out what's your plan going forward, because clearly this season is basically a dud. You know that. You know you're going to sell some assets. Now you need to start telling your guys what's happening, and you need to do it before the deadline. Because if you tell these guys that, okay, we want to do a quick rebuild and we want to see where things can go, then guys like Kadri can know and he can get out. And that way you can get assets for him too. And to kind of speak on that rebuild, and I'll kind of finish up with the Flames tonight, is that I don't think it's a long rebuild with this team. It might take maybe one more year, but if you can get a crap load of assets for all of these guys, I would not hate that. I don't care what prospects it is, guys who are ready, any sort of draft picks you can get. If you're going to suck this year, just do it. I think for Calgary, it's been so many years where you're right there. For the years they didn't make the playoffs, it was 10 to 15, 10 to 15, at the bottom of the standings, right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And when they did make the playoffs, it wasn't like that anybody, maybe outside of the 1 year where I think whatever it was, like 2 years ago, where they had them go into the cup final. I didn't think they had a snail's chance in hell of making it. But if you're going to suck, just do it. Just get rid of these guys right now. They clearly don't want to be here. Get the assets and start the process.
And I think I think that is the exact right approach to it. That if this is what you want to do, then you have to be all in on it. You have to make the moves. And I think for Calgary, because they have so many different guys that could bring some value, I think for them looking for quantity, I think would be kind of a good way to look at it. I think that it's trying to get a combination of draft picks and maybe some young guys if you get lucky, if whatever team you're trading for is willing to give up a prospect or two that maybe is not going to be on their team long term, but because you have a young team, you can give them more of an opportunity to grow.
So really badly.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
When I come back though, I do have a big question for you.
Sure, go ahead. So step aside for a minute, no worries. I'll hold down the floor myself. So look, clearly, obviously, Kyle, very passionate about where the Flames are. And I understand it from talking about it from the Devils' perspective. The Devils, it took them a long time to get to the point where they are now, where they have the likes of Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, Bratt, even acquiring guys like Tyler Toffoli and Timo Meyer and guys like that, and signing Dougie Hamilton. It's a process. It sucks going through it for 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. For the Devils' case, it was like a decade of rebuilding and then rebuilding a rebuild. It sucks. But eventually, if everything goes well, you get to a point where there's light at the end of the tunnel and you start seeing those young guys developing. You start seeing the team come together and gel as a team. I think that's a really important thing. So I think for the Flames, they certainly have to, trust in. I mean, the Flames fans, all they can really do is kind of just trust in management, as Kyle would probably agree, and just hope that they go in the right direction. So that's the way that I think we look at it with Calgary. Starting with Zadorov, I'm going to say this. I don't think he's the first one on the Flames traded. I think Noah Hannafin's the first one to go.
Okay.
And I'll tell you where I think Noah Hannafin ends up in Buffalo.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'll do that.
I think Buffalo is getting to that point now where they're going to start making some moves, to like guys outside the organization to come in and kind of fit into that same system.
I'm totally fine with that. Yeah, because I love what the Sabres have. And depending who they can give back, if for some reason Peyton Krebs is on that list, where we get him back and maybe a very late draft pick, I'm okay with that. I won't say no to that.
That's just my thought. That's just my prediction.
Speaking of guys getting traded to places, first question, do you even want Zadorov?
It's a matter of and I should just mention really quickly here, just not second. The second period just started, but as we get underway here in this period, I will say this.
Sorry, I switched the cable. We're on point.
Yes, we are on. So Kyle and I are good now. Now we're fine. We're good. We're just underway here in this second period. Again, tied at 1. Goals from Rust for Pittsburgh and then Curtis Lazar for New Jersey. Zadorov would fit basically Anita's. Now Bratt comes in. Bratt with a shot, and that one is fought off by Jar. He had to get that out of my system. That was a really good chance from Jesper Bratt right away for New Jersey. Zadorov fits what the Devils lack. Solid defenseman. He's big, 6'6", and well over 200 pounds, and he clearly likes to hit. Devils don't have anybody on the back end that does that.
Right.
I think in terms of, is he somebody that the Devils would try to sign long term? Not at the money he's asking for.
He's asking too much money. I was just
that's the problem. Tom Fitzgerald, if you look at all the big money deals for the Devils, right? Let's call it big money. Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, Timo Meyer, Jesper Bratt, Dougie Hamilton, and Andre Palat. We'll go with Palat because it was a 5-year deal. I say big money like $6 million. But all of them are deals that people look at and say, well, it seems like a lot of money, but it's actually at times a lot less than what they may have gotten on the market in some degree.
Right.
The Devils signed Jack Hughes and Nico before they both broke out, which is like a steal and a half. Jesper Bratt, they got him to sign for less than $9 million, which we all thought was just not going to happen because it just seemed like his agent wanted that. Dougie Hamilton signed for a lot of money because the Devils at the time, they needed to get a big marquee guy to sign, so they had to overpay. This is what's going to happen. Same thing to an extent with Andre Palat's contract as well. I just don't know if the Devils would be a team that would trade for a guy like that as a rental because it just doesn't fit Tom Fitzgerald's way of trading for players.
Sure.
Because every guy that he traded for at the deadline, the Devils have signed beyond this year. Mm-hmm. Like they signed Timo long-term. Curtis Lazar, he still has another year left after this year. So it's not like, so he was always looking for guys with term. I don't know if he's at that point yet to make a deal for a rental. And again, I think from a fit standpoint, like a system fit, I think he would bring in just some physical defensive responsibility is really kind of like what we're looking for. And I think he does fit that mold. And that's just kind of the way I look at it.
So I'm on cap friendly and I'm curious because, and I know we've talked about this before, where Toffoli's contract does end this year.
That's true. It does end this year.
I'm very curious to see the type of season that he's going to have with you guys and the money that he's going to ask at the end of the season, regardless of what happens.
I'm guessing between 6 and 7. This is just I'm guessing. I'm literally guessing.
He'll want maybe a short 2 to 3 year deal because
I was going to say 4, but maybe that's too long.
Sure, 4 maybe. Because the guy is, how old is he? He's
32.
He's 31.
31, which is not that old. People think it's actually not.
It's not old.
He's kind of in the prime of his career, if you can believe that.
He'll probably ask for about let's say 4 or 5 year deal, maybe give or take, and he's going to want probably $6 to $7 million, right?
Yep.
That would leave you with, now you have, like you mentioned, Myers making 8.8. Myers making more than Jack Hughes.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah. But again, we have to remember with Jack Hughes' contract. People, I need to help people understand. When Jack Hughes signed, first of all, people thought it was an overpay, which I know sounds ridiculous now. But and the thing is as much as Tom Fitzgerald would have loved to have signed Timo and Timo Meyer to less than what Jack is making, realistically speaking, with the body of work that Timo has put in up until this point in his career, you knew he wasn't going to go for less than Jack. Yeah, he went for less than market value, though.
But still, he's making $8 million, right?
Yes,
so you got that. Yeah. But yeah, just because I love cap friendly, I'm a big cap friendly guy.
If you were watching live watch-alongs last year, Kyle, big cap friendly guy.
Big cap friendly. So you got. It's funny because it's not like you guys you got a lot of deals locked down long term, and I think that's where it's safe to assume that this window is now open for the Devils, right?
Oh, for sure. As a deflection there, and Brian Rust scores. Just a little bit of confusion. Not sure the puck got in the back of the net, but it did nonetheless. Rust second of the game, and the Penguins grabbed the lead here early in the second as they're back up by 1.
Was it a scramble in front of the net or what?
No, it kind of Erik Karlsson threw it at the net on a backhand, and then there was a second delay, and then it ended up. So we're seeing the replay now as the Penguins got in. Crosby dropped it off to Karlsson. Karlsson went to the backhand, and oh no, that is it's
you gotta have that, man.
It squeaked past Vitek. A soft goal. Vitek should have had it. I think that's Gensel's goal, maybe. I don't know. Brian Rust. Though I
thought it hit Gensel's skate. I thought it hit his skate.
But Rust reacted immediately that it was his goal. So I guess maybe he touched it with his stick.
Maybe.
Or something.
Maybe.
But Brian Rust, 9th goal of the year now, 2nd of the game. And the Penguins now have the lead again. Erik Karlsson continuing to play well as now Penguins with another opportunity as that shot just goes wide. So good opportunity there. Just kind of one of those situations, Kyle. Throw the puck on net, see what happens, bounce there, and it goes in.
But again, that's something for me where I look at Vanacek and it's come on, The puck's in front of you. It's not like it's going anywhere else but in front of you. If it does get deflected.
There's a shot there. Rebound try and they score. Nate Bastian on a rebound. And the Devils have tied it.
I just looked up and I saw it was in the net. I saw them celebrating. So.
Oh, my goodness. Dougie Hamilton threw a shot on net. Again, kind of the same thing. Threw it on net. And then Eric Holla, I think it was Holla that took a shot, and then it bounced over to Bastian and off the pad of Jarry and in.
What a rebound.
Oh, that was a juicy rebound given up by Jarry. So both goaltenders not with good goals to give up there.
You know what that means.
That means someone's getting drunk. First goal of the year for Nate Bastian finally. And the Devils have tied. I think that was 2 goals in 40 seconds?
I think so, yeah.
Something like that.
A break here for the Devils. 2-on-1. What a
No, 2-on-1 as Holtz comes in with an opportunity. Feeds it over in that shot. Backhand try. And it goes wide. Andre Palat. Opportunity here. That one goes wide in the net. Kyle, all of a sudden out of nowhere, the energy is picked up.
Just missed it.
Oh, my goodness. Alex Holtz with a great pass to Palat, but he couldn't get a decent shot off.
Could you believe that?
I think you're actually ahead of me, if you could believe that.
Just slightly, not by much.
You said 2-on-1, and it then, after you said it, I looked up and it was 2-on-1.
Yeah, just slightly. I switched to cable, so go cable. But
I'm on cable.
I was going to say, are you surprised that it's 17-11 the shots for the Devils right now?
A little bit, but we've talked about this before. As now the Devils come back in, Bratt leaves it to Toffoli, couldn't get it on his stick, but he regains it. It's not about, for me, that I'm looking at, the Devils have a lot of shots on goal. It's that the quality of shots are not great. Right. I will say though, what I like that Dougie Hamilton did that led to that Nate Bastian goal is he just simply threw it on net. He wasn't really he took a shot and that was pretty much it. Yeah. It's a great save there on the shoulder from Vanacek as that puck came to the other side. I don't know who took that shot, but nonetheless, good save from Vitek.
Yeah. But again, both goals, I think both goalies would like to have that back.
Remind me to stop complimenting Tristan Jarry when he starts winning games. Because now I'm starting to understand more why Penguins fans get frustrated with him. Eric Holla with his second assist of the night, and Dougie Hamilton with his first. They're the two guys who get assists on the Nate Bastian goal. Again, his first of the year. So now the Devils come back in. Curtis Lazar, who has the first goal of the game for the Devils on a shorthanded one, comes into the zone. Puck comes over. Squirts out. So, Kyle, one thing to mention here, by the way, both goals for the Devils come from their team's bottom six.
Yeah. We noticed that in the playoffs, too, didn't we?
Eric Holla finished with them leading the team in points in the first round against the Rangers.
That was crazy. That was a crazy series.
I think that's a reason why people look at the Devils' depth and say that it's good because of, guys like Eric Holla and, Lazar and Bastian and Michael McLeod as well that find ways to get goals when you need them. Mm-hmm. And it's not pretty. Neither goal for the Devils, quite frankly, was pretty. It was a good shot from Lazar, but again, wide open 5-hole.
They don't need to be pretty though.
No, not at all. No, not really. With the way the Devils have been going right now, and you need some bounces, it's got to be ugly. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. And it's nice that again they're not taking themselves out of the game. They're keeping themselves in the game, right? You're not necessarily overpowering these guys. You're just not making the mental errors outside of what Vanacek did, and to be fair, what Jarry did too. You're not taking yourselves out. You're just keeping yourself in the game because you know it's going to be close by the end of it now.
Oh yeah, this looks like a game that actually might go down to the wire. The way that it's been playing. A couple of out-of-town scoreboard updates. Coyotes, Blue Jackets tied at a goal apiece in the second. Vegas got a goal back, so now they're only down 2-1 early on in that second period against the Montreal Canadiens. And I think kind of what we were talking about, kind of wanted to finish the point about, you talk about Tyler Toffoli. I mean, again, if we're going off of the reports, and that's about as much as I can go off of, is according to Toffoli's dad, who spoke to NJ.com, again, I don't know how
wait to hear what you're going to say here.
He said Well, because our boy at NJ.com, Ryan Novozinski, asked him, so like, what is Tyler Toffoli's like goals for this year? And he said, well, it's very simple. He wants to have a really good year with the Devils. He wants to, okay.
Okay.
He wants to ignore it. He wants to, he already likes the way the Devil structure is, and his goal is to sign a longish term deal in New Jersey. That's his goal.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Yeah, and I think, but like you obviously don't want to like request his wishes. It's not like he's been on your team for ages, right? This is his first full season with this team, right?
For sure.
He's only been with this team for 11 games, so you just have to see how the season goes, and you have to see like, okay, if we're going to commit to him long term, if he wants to sign a long term deal at $6.5 million or $7 million or whatever the number may be, does it ensure that it keeps your window open longer, right? Does it work? I think that's the answer that you're going to find this season with Toffoli, is he going to continue to provide that sort of consistency going forward with this team?
We have to remember that Toffoli and Kyle can obviously, talk about this because he saw Toffoli play last year in Calgary. He's coming off of a career year where he played really well for a Flames team that, obviously did not have that great of a year last year. But Toffoli is in a contract year, and we've seen it a bunch from guys where in a contract year they have, tremendous success. And look, Toffoli has a hat trick already this year. He had 5 goals in 1 week, but let's just keep in mind that this was also, again, when Nico Hischier and Jack Hughes were playing. Since then, Toffoli hasn't really done a whole lot. Hasn't done enough to score. So it's hard to evaluate in a way, but it also isn't. It's like, okay, how do these guys perform when the chips are down? How do they perform when, we are struggling and we have adversity and things like that? And, again, it's still early, but I think looking from a statistical standpoint, I think for Toffoli, he's so far been a pleasant addition to the team.
Sorry, I was just going to quickly say, do you think he takes a team-friendly deal?
That is here's the thing. We don't know Toffoli's personality. The Devils don't know his personality that well yet because they've only worked him. Now, with Timo Meier, people will say that it was not a team-friendly deal. I argue to say it was a little bit because I think Timo Meier, if he had gone on the market and legitimately went into free agency, I think he could have gotten $8.5 to $9 million from somebody.
I thought you were going to say $10 million there.
He's not a $10 million. First of all, he's not a $10 million player. Second of all, there was, especially with the hard cap, nobody's paying $10 million.
No shot.
Yeah, so it's kind of one of those things where it's this. I think it's this way. Tom Fitzgerald has done early preliminary talks with Toffoli and his agent about what they expect, what they see, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to get, if the Devils are going to sign Toffoli up, move like beyond this year, it's not going to happen until the offseason, until they evaluate every. Same thing with Timo Meier. The Devils originally wanted to get a deal done when they traded for him. They wanted to do a sign and trade, basically. Wasn't going to happen. So they said to Timo, they said, look, we'll talk to you for a little bit now, and then we'll end it, and then we'll focus on it in the offseason. Exactly what they did, and in the middle of the offseason, they signed him. So, I could see that. Toffoli may market himself. I think Toffoli at this point, again, I don't know the man. I don't know him personally. I don't know what he's thinking. But he's won 2 Stanley Cups. It seems like he wants to be on a contending team, and the Devils do fit that mold when they're healthy, obviously. They fit that mold of a team that is ready to try to compete for a Stanley Cup. And if Toffoli feels that way, then he may sign a team-friendly deal. He may not. The Devils will have about $25 million in cap space going into next offseason, but, we'll see.
That's all I got. No, I was just saying, I think somebody got hurt on your...
they both got hit. I saw it for a split second, not sure what I missed. I think 2 players collided with one another. That much is for certain.
They'll have to do the replay. I kind of missed it a lot, what happened collision-wise, but I don't know if it was Mercer or... Might have been.
I think it was Mercer and Palat that might have collided on that.
Great.
It happens. The funny thing about Mercer is that, and for people who are not Devils fans, Dawson Mercer, since making the team 2 years ago, is still yet to miss a game in his NHL career.
Right.
The shot there is stopped by Vanacek. Rebound try for the Penguins gets snuffed out. So a good opportunity there. And speaking of Toffoli, he has the puck, drops it off to Michael McLeod. McLeod back to Toffoli. Toffoli now on the right side, drops it top of the point to Colin Miller. Miller throws it on net. It was deflected, but never got to the net off a deflection from Jesper Bratt. Michael McLeod, by the way, Kyle, is still one of the top 3 most successful face-off men in the NHL, if you can believe that.
That's crazy. Good for him, though.
He was killed in the playoffs. I don't know if you remember, but he was like top 2 in the playoffs.
Correct. I remember that.
He is a tremendous face-off guy, which is like crazy.
So Neil, it's early. We're 15 games in, okay?
More or less, depending on what team you are.
I just like looking at the standings, just seeing where everybody is, right? You've got the Canadiens, the Lightning, the Penguins ahead of you, right?
Okay.
Flyers and Leafs are in the wild card spots. And in the Metro, it's Carolina, Washington, who's 8-4-2.
Washington playing well right now.
And then the Rangers, who are 11-2-1.
Yes.
Me personally, I don't think the Flyers, it's going to sustain. I don't think it's going to last. I think it's going to eventually fall off and get back to reality. But and same thing for the Canadiens. I think it's going to fall off at some point, and I don't know what the Sabres are right there with you tied in points, and I don't know where that kind of ends up. So to think that you kind of have to leap about, well, if you think about it, looking ahead of you, you probably have to leap the Lightning and the Penguins just to get in, right? So it does make this matchup tonight that much more important, even though it's earlier on the season. Right now, you're a point back of the Penguins. You could be 3 points back after the end of tonight if they don't pull it off, right? But it's early, and I get it. But my question is, with Washington being up there, how concerned are you if the Devils get in and they find themselves in that Metro divisional playoff, you know what I mean? Like where they play the Rangers, blah, 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 Hurricanes, all that. How concerned would you be if they got into that side of the playoffs, or if they got into a wild card spot and they cross over to the Atlantic? If they find their way in, how concerning is it if you're in the Metro, or are you less concerned if you're in the Metro and you cross over to the Atlantic? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean. There's a couple things that kind of just like depend, and I don't want to get too technical with it because, again, like I know I sound like a broken record, but the Devils are not at full strength, not even close. You have 3 of your top guys out. If the Devils went into a playoff series with anybody, with the team they have on the ice playing tonight, I'm not feeling all that confident. I'm being real with you. Like, no matter who we play, even if we played like, I don't know, if we played like Buffalo or something, I'm not feeling like overly confident because the issues that are the biggest one, and it's not just injury, is their defensive liability. And, they're struggling in the back end, and the goaltending, as we've seen tonight, Kyle, is just still not there from neither Vitek Vanacek nor Akira Schmid. And so right now, I'm not feeling all that confidence. Now, a backhand try, scramble in front, and a backhand try by Brett. And I don't know how that didn't end up in the back of the net. Might have hit somebody in front. As now the Penguins look to come the other way as Malkin drops it off. And a shot there from CC. Scramble in front, and that one just goes wide on the rebound from Rust. Looking for the hat trick there. Letang walks the line, drops off to Malkin. Now over to Crosby in the right corner. Drops it top of the point to Letang. Letang gets it over to Cody CC. I think that's CC. I want to say that's CC. Gets it over now to Crosby. Crosby drops off to Malkin. Malkin with a shot, and that deflects just wide. Devils need to get it out here. Siegenthaler tries to get it out. He cannot. Now gets it to Malkin again. Over now to Rust. Not sure why he didn't shoot that. Rust now gets it over to Letang. Letang, Malkin with a drive, and that one gets blocked by Siegenthaler and ended up in his equipment. So 71 blocks 71, which you're never going to see again because how many players in the NHL were 71? Not many.
Malkin, Siegenthaler.
That's all I got. He's going to find it. But some pretty good action right there, Kyle, for the last 30 or 40 seconds.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I didn't want to say anything just because I was focusing on it. It was very good back and forth there. It's definitely picked up in the second period, though, for sure.
As a hockey fan, that's what you want. You just want to see like the action kind of pick up. But to go back to your question before, I would prefer to play the Metro.
Okay, sorry, 1 second.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. But
Yeah, we put some pipes in recently, and there's like not an opening, but like I think it's raining outside.
oh,
It's like a weird noise. Anyway, whatever, it's fine.
okay, it's all good.
Sorry, continue.
Um,
Yeah.
the reason that I would want to play the Metro, it's not that I prefer it, it's that I want it because I want the Devils, at least from the Carolina perspective, to have the opportunity to play them again. Because it's that experience. It's that a lot of teams, especially when you win Stanley Cups, they have to go through several of the same teams and finally get over that hump. I think for Toronto last year, what was it? It was Tampa. They couldn't get it done the year before. They get them again in the first round. It goes to game 7. No, it went 6. No, it went 7. I don't remember. I think it went 6 or 7, maybe. I don't remember. But it went distance. Today, Devin Wiley for the Kansas City Chiefs. Wait, what?
Died? What?
Devin Wiley died? Sorry,
No
what?
way.
No way. Was he? Thought he was playing. Okay, well, by the way, this is football. In case any person here has no idea what we're talking about, this is football. This is the team that Taylor Swift's boyfriend plays for. Just context on that. I don't mean to make a joke there.
Any Swifties in here?
So if we got any Swifties in the chat, let's go. I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. Anyway,
number 70, Tyler Pitlick.
Nick Foligno.
Nick Foligno. Yes. Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall was 71.
Oh yeah, Taylor Hall.
I don't know why. I don't know why.
Nice.
He wore it in Boston, and now he's wearing it in Chicago. Which, by the way, Blackhawks and Lightning again playing against one another tonight.
What has it been like?
I feel like they played each other like 3 or 4 times at this point. It just feels like that. I'm not watching the Hawks. Even with Bedard playing, I'm not watching the Hawks. By the way, it seems like Connor Bedard's a big fan of the moms. So he's got the Zach Wilson disease. So that's not good.
The Zach Wilson disease. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. I went there. I don't care. I went there. I don't care. I don't care.
It's a bad team. Anyway.
It's a bad team. But no, I think from the Devils' perspective, it's a confidence thing. It's that they need to believe that they can beat any team that they play. And they do have some experience now. So that's the thing. What'll be interesting is that if the Devils make the playoffs, are people still going to knock on them for the quote-unquote lack of playoff experience? Or now that they've actually gone through it, got to the second round, all that stuff, that now they're more of a quote-unquote battle-tested team? I want to know what people would say. And I guess it depends on where we are by that point in the year.
They need to get healthy, and they just need to get there for me. I think they just need to get in, right? Because they can be listen, I'm not buying what the Rangers are selling. I'm not buying what the Canucks are selling, even though they're in the West.
I'm buying what the Canucks are selling. I'm actually buying it.
Really?
I'm a sick man. Yes, I think that they're
buying into the Vancouver.
I'm buying into it. Yeah, I'm buying into Rick Todd. Look, you have Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer on your coaching staff, and they're having this success. I'm buying it.
No.
Okay, fine.
No way. No way.
Come back to me in a month.
I'm listening. So you got the coaching staff. What else?
So you got Elias Pettersson, who honestly right now is playing very, very well, which shouldn't shock me because Elias Pettersson's a good hockey player.
I'll give you that.
Period. Yep. You have Kuzmenko, who's now taking another step in his development. He actually finished the year last year on a hot note, and he's continuing this year. You have Quinn Hughes, who, can we be honest and say Quinn Hughes is actually good? I don't get why people don't give him enough credit. They're saying,
he might win the Norris. Yep.
He might win the Norris. You have JT Miller, who decides that I'm going to be good again. No, that's kind of mean. He was always pretty good. That's not saying it. It's just because he was the one bright spot for a while on a Vancouver team. Connor Garland is absolute dog water. That's not a positive. I just wanted to say that. I'm not a Connor Garland fan. I don't get why people like this guy. I don't get it. Not a big fan. And the thing is that. Just roll with me on this one, just a little bit.
I'm rolling. Yep.
Every year, the Devils were this last year. Every year, there is that one team that surprises us that makes the playoffs. Every year, without fail. I actually went into the season thinking it was going to be Buffalo, personally. I thought it was going to be, but maybe also Buffalo seemed like the sexy pick to be a team that didn't make the playoffs last year to make it this year. The thing with Vancouver is that it's not that they need like a massive rebuild. I think they're more of a retool type of team personally. I still think, here's the thing. And also Thatcher Demko is playing well too. Just want to point that out. I feel bad that I didn't mention Thatcher Demko, BC alum. Gotta love the kid. The thing is that they're a team that is catching a lot of teams by surprise. Their speed is really actually frustrating a lot of teams, a lot of the slower teams that they played. And again, they remind me of last year's Devils, where like they are going to surprise people. It's not going to always look like that they're for real, but I don't think this start is just a fluke, in my opinion. I think they can keep it up the way they're playing right now?
No.
Do I think that they're good enough to make the playoffs? My opinion, yes.
Yes.
And be that surprise team makes the playoffs. So maybe I should have been more clear about what I was trying to say. I'm buying into them being a legit playoff contending team.
They're not contenders.
In the playoffs. No, to make the playoffs. That's what I mean.
To make the playoffs, yeah.
No, I was trying to find the right word to say. I believe that they are a team. I don't want to say contending. That's not the word. I believe that they are a playoff team.
They're a playoff team, but they ain't going anywhere.
I didn't say they were going anywhere.
Yeah, no, I agree. They're going to get in, but they're not going anywhere because they're dog water.
All right, cool. Yeah, because Connor Garland's going to ruin it for everyone.
Well, okay, that. But, no, you're right. I assume that Quinn Hughes is probably going to be one of the top 3 players that are going to be nominated for the Norris. And if he keeps on this pace, he's probably going to win it. Right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Demko's been playing great. And everything's just gone their way. Every single thing has gone their way this year. You cannot sit here and tell me that this team is a deep team. You got Pettersson up front with Miller, who's playing well. You got Quinn Hughes playing out of his mind, right? You got to give him credit. You got to give Kuzmenko his credit. You got to give Mikheyev credit, too. He's been playing very well.
Mikheyev, right? I forgot about Ilya Mikheyev, yeah.
Mikheyev's been playing very well for this team. You cannot sit here and tell me that team is deep. I don't care who the hell they add at the deadline.
No, they're very top-heavy at the moment.
They're top-heavy,
yeah.
And they are not deep. When times get tough, because they will, and it won't continue like this forever. They're not going to win the next 20 games in a row. News article comes out 40 days later that they won 20 in a row. But
you have to do something. If that actually were to happen, you got to do something for it.
That'd be amazing. But my point is that there's not a soul who's going to beat Vegas in the playoffs in that division. There's
in that division? Oh, yeah.
Vegas is getting the conference final this year. You can book it. They ain't losing to anybody.
Oh, Vegas. I thought you said
Vegas is not losing to the Canucks. They ain't losing to the Kings. If the Ducks find their way up, that division is so weak, and Vegas is just feasting on it.
They're like what? Like the diamond in the rough of a bad litter, if that makes sense.
Pretty much. Yep. They're feasting on this division.
The Pacific Division might honestly be the worst in the NHL.
It's so bad.
You have a Sharks team that could historically become the worst team in NHL history. And that again shows you why that loss by Edmonton, 2 weeks, what was it, last week, 2 weeks ago, was very bad.
Last week, yeah. Was
very bad because it was you didn't want to be the team that gave the Sharks the first win. But look, Vegas is going to steamroll that division. I'm more or less on the bandwagon of, do I think the Canucks could be that team that people didn't expect to make the playoffs and they did? Yes, I think they could. Do I think they go far? No. But also, the playoffs is weird. And some stuff, let's be honest, Kyle, did we really think that the Kraken would go all the way to Game 7 of the second round last year with the goaltending that they had?
Yes. I had the Kraken in the beginning. I had them at the beginning of the playoffs. They were going to win. They were going to win a series, and okay, you're right. I didn't think they were going to make it to 7 games, but I thought they were going to beat the Avalanche.
I had them. To be fair, I also had them maybe in the.
I had them beating Colorado. Yeah, I had them beating Colorado.
So maybe that's a bad example. Did we?
Go ahead.
Okay, here's a good one. Did we think New Jersey was going to do the type of damage that they did last year?
It was a close series.
What I'm saying from the perspective of this, the 13-game winning streak, the breaking all the records that they did, the dominance that they had. Anybody expect that? No. Did people expect them to make the playoffs? There were a bunch of people that didn't expect them to make the playoffs. They thought that this would be a year where they take a step forward, they get a little closer, blah, blah, blah. They took a massive step forward. And I don't think it's a fluke either. I know people want to say that right now, but look at the damn team that you have on the ice, and I don't know what the hell you want me to say to that. So the thing about it is with Vancouver. And by the way, we are doing this game, in case you want to know. We are doing this Devils Penguins game. 2:58 to go in the second
nothing
period.
going on. There's nothing
Still,
happening.
Still tied at 2. Just not a lot is going on at the moment. A lot of block shots. As actually Toffoli almost had a chance there off the faceoff. But no, I think honestly with Vancouver, I think they can make the playoffs. That's what I'm going to go with.
Oh, they're going to make it.
Rick Tucker, I think, is a pretty good coach.
He's a great coach. The stupid thing is that 2 to 3 spot in the Pacific is going to mean nothing, because either way, you're going to have to play Vegas in the next round. You're going to get
playing Vegas round 1.
Yeah, like it's not like I don't know. Like for me personally, I think Vancouver's peaking too early. I think they're peaking too early. I do. I think.
What are they supposed to do about it? That's kind of the sad thing. It's like, what are they supposed to do? Like, not play?
No, and I'm not saying like this is a bad thing. They're playing very well, and they deserve to be where they're at. And you know what? Maybe I'm going to eat my own words by the end of the year, and they get to the conference final. I don't know, but if they go and they think that they have the team this year, right? If all of a sudden the GM thinks, "Oh my God, we're 11-2-1 right now. Like we have a real shot to win the Stanley Cup here." If they go too far in at the deadline, that's going to hurt them real bad.
That's a very good point about the deadline thing. It's about, there was a team that did it recently.
You have to know. As a GM, you've got to know whether or not you legitimately think you have a chance.
Yeah.
So if you're Vancouver, do you really think you're 1 or 2 pieces away from winning a cup? Because you still
I think the management, I think the trust there, I don't think they think that. I think they're looking at it where they are right now and they're like, oh, this is great. This is awesome.
They can't make a move at the deadline. They can't.
Right. And I think for them, they got to look at it and say like this: we've already made a bunch of moves at the deadline, trading away people. They got rid of Bo Horvat. They're probably Brock Besser. I still don't know what's going to happen with him moving forward. It's a weird.
We're gonna find out.
We gonna find out for sure.
Yeah. Connor Garland wanted out of this team at the beginning of the year, and he's still on it.
I wonder if he still wants out. Probably not.
Probably not, because they're doing well.
Because they're doing well, right? Obviously,
right.
And like, look,
sideways, and he wants out.
For Connor Garland, I mean, he spent most of his career. Playing on bad teams. He went from Arizona to Vancouver. Is he really playing a whole lot of icing here? We got a little less than 2 minutes to go here in this second period. We did have a couple of really good moments. Both teams have scored another goal in this period, but over the last 4 or 5 minutes, things have kind of quieted down again. I'm gonna be honest with you, Kyle. This definitely feels like a game that's going to take more than 60. It just feels that way.
You get a chance when they show the crowd what
the hat thing
wearing. Yeah,
I don't know. There was a giveaway here. I can look it up on probably the Penguins' social media. Probably
weird. Like they all look like a bunch of
ski hat. No, what do they call that? What do they call that? A toque? They ain't calling it a toque. It's America. It would be funny if the Rangers Canucks meet in the Cup final. No, let's not. No, we don't want them. No, because here's the thing. If the Canucks, there's an opportunity there for McLeod, just goes wide. Here's the thing, though. If the Canucks either win or lose the Stanley Cup, the city will burn again. It will not matter if they win or lose. It will burn to the ground.
Fair enough.
I mean, look, man. Somebody made a documentary of just literally the aftermath of when after they lost and everything was like Flames the shot there from Letang. That one gets blocked. That shot just goes wide. Wraparound chance, and it also goes through the crease of Vanacek. Oh my goodness, the Penguins with some great chances there. Couldn't get it on net or couldn't get it in the net.
That was very close.
I heard you say something. I look up, and the shot just goes wide. You're like, oh, it's a shot there from 27, just goes wide. Might have been blocked away from Vanacek. 3 seconds, 2 and 1. Puck is in the left corner, but the clock will expire after what was honestly a pretty good second period. I got nothing to complain about that except the goal that Vanacek gave up. But other than that, they're pretty good games so far through 40.
We got a third period coming up.
Kyle's like, wait, I actually have to fully focus on this game?
There's a game that I have to watch? Listen, for all the games that we did in the playoffs, how many of them were blowouts? Let's be honest.
95% of them?
Every single one of them was a blowout. Like, honestly, we're just saying that we have to play the game.
Except game 5 against Hurricanes. It went to overtime.
Right.
It wasn't a blowout. It was an overtime game. It was actually, as much as it sucked the Devils lost, I look back now, it was a thrilling way to end the series. Got to be honest with you.
Oh, it was great. Yeah.
So
and then they didn't do anything with it. And then
the Hurricanes. Remember, Kyle, the Hurricanes didn't get swept. Just remember that. Rob Brindamore said it best. They didn't get swept.
Sure.
That was one of the all-time greatest comments ever. Just they didn't get swept. Yeah, you did.
Anyway,
mathematically speaking, you did. But
okay, well,
nonetheless, I think it's time to take another quick break before we get into our second intermission and kind of talk a little bit about how this game has gone so far and talk about some other stuff as well.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so we'll see you guys.
Sorry. Early. Sorry, we're good.
As we'll step aside for just a moment to get another word from our sponsors. Take it away.
Okay, now we'll do it.
Go.
Okay, we're good. All right, we'll go.
And welcome everybody back here to our game, live watch along between the Devils and Penguins. Kyle Manifold, Neil Villapiano, we thank you as always for hanging out with us. By the way, do us a favor, make sure to leave a like on this stream if you haven't already. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified every time we go live here. We'll be doing a ton more of these. You've already seen a bunch. Kyle, correct me if I'm wrong, is this not your second of the week, I believe?
Yep.
Yeah, you did
my seventh of the year so far.
Kyle's done more than I have, which, you know, I'm sure people are going to, in the comments are going to tell me to step up my game. But, it's only my second game of the year. No, third. No, this is third. This is the third. Last one I did was when the Devils beat Montreal a couple weeks ago. Which was fun. Right. Which was really we had a lot of, other than the Devils winning, obviously, I had a lot of fun with the guys. It was great. By the way, speaking of Montreal, Kyle, look at this score. 4-4, and the second period, it was
what a game.
It was 2-1 the last time we got an update. So we got enough. We get a lot of goals in that one. We also do have a very, and I'm going to call it like it is, very meaningless Thursday night football game. Ravens up 7-3 on the Bengals in the first quarter. Kyle's upset because I called it meaningless.
Meaningless.
Well, I hate Thursday night football. I think it's okay. Let me clarify what I want to say. The matchup is good. I'm sorry. Let me clear myself. The matchup is good. I'm going
to go watch the game after.
Kyle, I just hate Thursday night football. I hate the concept. I hate that it's on Thursday. Nobody asked for it.
Yeah, well, it's been like this for the last how many years?
I know, but I just hate it. No, you know what I'm really going to hate? When they actually start saying that Tuesday night football is a good idea.
You know what you're really going to hate is when Tommy DeVito throws for 450 yards and 4 touchdowns.
You know what? I hope it happens. Against the Command, why not? I want one more good thing out of this season. I want one more win. I'm fine with it. I don't care. Here we go. Connor. Yeah, Connor's in the chat. 12-3-1. We're legit.
You're not legit. Shut the hell up.
Who's 12-3? Oh, that's the Canucks, isn't it? Yeah.
Please, the Flames won 10 games in a row, whether that was 2 years ago or whenever that was, and they called us legit. I didn't think we were legit. We didn't make it to the Cup final like everybody predicted we would. Are you kidding me?
I just want to say this. Also,
get out of here with that.
The Devils won 13 in a row last year, and people still didn't think they were legit, and then they made the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm going to take you serious now that you have Teddy Bluger to help you guys on the fourth line.
Bluger.
Call me when you guys are in the playoffs and you get absolutely ran over by Vegas.
You okay?
Can't wait for that.
Are you okay?
Oh, no, it's just like I heard it. At least look. The only person that I can get on my side with the Canucks is Dylan.
It's also 2-2, by the way, in our game.
And it's 2-2. Yes, it's 2-2.
Forgot to mention that in the beginning. It's 2-2. Brian Rust got his second of the game. It was like off a deflection in front. It was a bad goal given up by Vitek. And then 30 or 40 seconds later, Nate Bastian on a rebound. I also would argue to say it was kind of a weak goal given up by Jari. That tied it at 2. Rust has his 8th and now 9th goal of the year. Bastian's goal that tied it was his first of the year. Anyway, go ahead, Kyle. Sorry.
No, I don't want to take away from the game here. They're just showing Pittsburgh's road schedule coming up, and it looks ugly. Carolina, Vegas, Rangers, and then they end with Buffalo. But still, that's.
I will say though, Carolina. I feel like people are not talking about enough. They're struggling a bit as well this year. They're 9-7-1 now, I think. Something like that.
But hold on, let me check.
They just lost to the Flyers last night in an ugly game. Ugly game in Philadelphia.
9-7. Man, that's
what I'm saying. Like, what I'm saying is, like, I was telling people this because I've had people say, "Oh, the Devils are 8-7-1," and I'm like, okay, then keep that same energy for teams like Carolina as well. Mm-hmm. Just keep that same energy for Edmonton struggling. Keep that same energy. Like, you gotta be fit. You gotta look at it like the biggest concern for Carolina is this, Kyle. Unfortunately, Freddie Anderson's out long term. I forgot what he had, though. I feel bad that I don't remember. It was something not good. It's something.
Hey, if you need a starting goaltender, I know where you can get one.
There you go. But, also, to be fair, Carolina's the type of team that doesn't need like an all-star goaltender. They've proven that. They don't.
However, I'll say this: with Goes is saying the Canes suck. Let's ask the question: would you rather be hot now, or do you want to be hot in April?
I want to be hot in April.
April and May. Why would you want to be hot? It's good. Listen, it's a good thing if you want to be hot to start the season. That way, it kind of like not secures it, but everybody kind of knows like where you might be come to the end of the season. But why would you want to be hot right now?
Right.
There's no. What are you playing for? Right. You're not in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's true.
And if you're a cup contending team, especially like a veteran team, you want to. I don't want to say you want to tread water, but you want to kind of like not go crazy with with the way you're playing because you want to make sure you're as healthy as possible when come playoff time and everything. Like Vegas is like the exception to me because Vegas just is that deep as a team, and like they're just playing,
and they just proved it.
And so like, What do they have to prove other than can we do it again? That's literally how and they know what it takes to get from the beginning of the season to there. Because remember this, guys, whoever wins the Stanley Cup started the season in October, sorry. We can call it September if you want to do preseason, October, and didn't finish till mid-June. Okay? That's 8 months. 8 months of playing hockey. Arguably one of the most physical sports in all of sports in general. Like,
let's think about this for a second. You had Florida last year. Okay.
Let's go on, Angus. Just want to say hi to Angus. Angus, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well.
Let's backtrack for a second here. You had Florida last year, right? You had, just from going off memory here, you have the Canadiens in 2020, right? You had the Blues who won the Cup, who was the worst team in the league, right? Came January, and they all of a sudden just turned it on, right? So how many times, like you go all the way back to when the Kings were Cup champs, when they were the 8th seed, and when the Devils were the 6th seed even, right? Like, you think back to all of these teams, that were, in the final or won the Cup, and they went on a deep run. They didn't have remarkable starts to the season, man. Everybody got, when you're in, man. Who's hot at that time? And we've seen it time and time again. When you're hot, you just know.
Right.
At that time, when you're hot, you're going to go the distance, right? So that's why it's like, I don't believe it with these teams early on. And that includes every single team. It might include Vegas right now, maybe a little bit. But I get it, why they proved it.
Vegas is harder just because it's like, well, it's
I
Vegas.
Get it, I get it. But it's like, I don't know. You have to wait until closer to. None of this, the beginning of the season stuff means nothing.
Right.
It means absolutely nothing. Florida got in by the skin of their teeth last year, and look what happened to them.
They went all the way to the damn finals.
Right. So it's like you have to be hot at the right time.
I agree.
So anyway.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you completely. And, again, I'm actually kind of curious, Kyle. I want to see if you and I are kind of on the same page. When do you stop saying it's early? How many games do we got to get to? I was thinking like 2025, but maybe that's still a little too much.
Thanksgiving. American Thanksgiving.
American Thanksgiving. So that's about a week. A week from today. Fun fact, in case somebody wants to know, it's a week from today. Kyle doesn't care. It's fine. That's all good.
We already celebrated it.
Yeah. The day that really matters. The day that really matters for a lot of people is Black Friday, the following day. That's which fun fact. I'm actually going to the Devils game on Black Friday. It is a 3:00 puck drop on a Friday, which is awesome.
Oh, that'll be fun. That's fantastic.
For someone like me, it's like a Friday, 3:00.
Yeah,
I got the rest of my day after this game. I go home. It's like 7:30. I'm having a good time.
When I was out west a couple weeks ago, it was great. We had 4:00 games that were on. There was a 7:00 game on. Obviously, with the West Coast teams at that time. Oh, it was the best. I was like, it gives me a reason to be like, why shouldn't I be living out there right now? That's great.
I always get envious of Dylan because he's like, oh, I don't have to worry. I never have to stay up late for a hockey game. I'm like, oh, aren't you special?
We don't like Dylan.
We don't like Dylan.
Anyway,
he's watching, just like props in the chat.
I just wanted to read it. Canes suck when they're off for 3 days and then off for 2 and get no schedule love. They're about to go every other day and start dominating the division.
All right.
Go ahead.
Let me please.
Take it away.
Everybody at some point this year has had a crappy schedule. Okay? I'll give the Devils as an example. The Devils last week had 2 games, just 2, the whole week. And they played on Friday and didn't play again until Tuesday. So that's what? Saturday, Sunday, Monday, didn't play till Tuesday night. That's a long time off. They one time went 5 days without playing a game. They played Minnesota a couple weeks ago on a Sunday, didn't play again till Thursday. So, I get it. I get that it's I agree. The scheduling this year is weird. There's a lot of breaks in between, and I think that's an underlying reason as to why some teams are struggling with chemistry and things like that right now, because they're just not playing that many teams. Oh no. Kyle, Cat is in the chat. I'm not saying anything mean. Yeah, I literally am just trying to make a point. I'm making a point.
I didn't say you said anything mean. Go ahead, continue.
No, Kyle. Okay. My point is
Why?
that
I'm
my
saying
point is
no.
this. No, this is my
Go ahead.
point. My point is that the schedule makers suck. Nobody is
Yeah.
playing. Everybody at one point or another is playing like several games off, like several days off. Like I don't get it. I don't know why. Talk about my team. I'll talk about my team. Kat, I've been talking about my team for the last 2 hours.
Well, that's why we're doing the Dallas.
What do you think I'm doing this game? But also, Kat actually put out a tweet earlier today, which I totally thought was interesting. It was one of those tweets, like, I really agree with it. It was one of those things where, like, she said, it wasn't a good game, but then also, like, nobody played that well anyway. So, like, it was like 2-1. Like, we didn't play well. It wasn't good. It was like, thank you.
Right.
Somebody gets it. Like, sometimes I have those standings, though. It is early in the season.
It's almost American Thanksgiving, though. That's what
Also,
we get being early.
I also want to know why every year I also like wonder why every year we don't play the Hurricanes until like 2 months into the season.
Oh yeah, it's funny how she did tune in though when we were talking about the.
I did tune in and you're talking about us. How in God's green did you figure that out? That is amazing. But Kat, thank you so much, by the way, for hanging out with us. We do appreciate it. Also, should really recommend Surgecast just did an interview with Jordan Martinook. That's right. So I would highly recommend that you guys go check out that episode. Really good one. Really good one. So make sure you go and also go check out the Surgecast. Guys do a great job over there covering the Carolina Hurricanes. Neil, imagine Canucks and Panthers in a playoff series. No, I don't want to imagine that. I don't want to.
No, hold on. Actually, hold on. I have to go back because Connor made a comment earlier, and he was adding me there. Canucks can always put it up to anyone. They're not some team that can roll.
He's trying to piss us both
I'm not saying that they can be rolled over easily. They're going to get rolled over by Vegas when they make it, but
they get rolled over
like the Leafs. Listen, nobody's like the Leafs. Nobody's like the Leafs.
Nobody can do it like the Leafs.
You can't compare it to those guys. Doesn't mean you're going to get dummied in the second round anyway by Vegas if you happen to get there in the first place. Anyway.
Yes. He meant that. By the way, we are just about ready to get underway in this third period. Kyle, again, we have a 2-2 game. And
I forgot about the game.
We forgot about the game. And that sounds sad, but no, this is legitimately a good game. And if you guys have been hanging out with us tonight, as always, we do very much appreciate it. And this is honestly a very good game. You have Brian. We have 3 people that have scored, and nobody had them on their bingo cards. You have Brian Rust. Well, maybe Brian Rust was on someone's bingo card, probably. But Curtis Lazar and Nate Bastian, 2 bottom 6 guys you did not have on your bingo card scoring a goal tonight. So there you go. But they also just showed a graphic here for the. I'm watching the game from the Devils MSG broadcast. Jaromir Jagr, again, we talked about before. Jersey being retired. Only the second Penguin ever to have his number retired, if you can believe that. This is weird.
I can't wait.
Should have more.
True. No, it's true. I got to look at.
But third period, by the way, has just gotten underway again. 2-2 is our score here in this one.
I'm just looking going forward. We have so the Global Series is going on, as we mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
We got a game going on Sunday for the Global Series, early 8 a.m. start. Jimmy is doing the Rangers and the Devils Saturday. Couple games next week, and oh my God, I was just looking ahead because I know I have 1 week where I'm doing 3 games.
God bless you.
It's the week, and it is the week of when we're doing it. But I just had to look ahead. So
delayed penalty, by the way, coming up here against the Penguins as it's touched up by Erik Karlsson. It's going to be a trip. So just about 38 seconds into the period, Kyle, the Devils with their first, if you can believe it, their first power play of the game and only second penalty of the entire night.
Crazy. It hasn't felt like that. That outside of the 2 goals that, went in for the Devils and the Penguins there to tie it. It hasn't. Nothing's really happened back and forth. Trip on Brat there.
That was Crosby that did that, by the way. Crosby doesn't like it, and he's still not in the box.
He went into the box, he came out of the box, and he went into the box.
Did you see though how he tripped Pratt? I don't think he tried. He did a ninja spin. Tried to sweep the leg.
A ninja spin.
I don't know how else to describe it. It's just ninja spin. Devils power play first in the NHL at 38.6%. That was up to 45 before, but it has been a successful.
Are you guys doing? Listen, so I'm doing one with Zach. I know Zach's doing the Surgecast. I don't know if Kat or Bailey's going to join that one as well. And then I'm doing one with you like 2 days later for another show. Are you guys going to be doing one this year? Because I feel like that has to happen.
Oh, it's going to happen. I'm sure Kat would agree. This is something where like when it's Devils, Hurricanes, it's just going to be, it's going to be a time. It's going to be a time. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I think,
should we try to do every game between the two teams just to see what happens? So now Luke Hughes with a drive that gets blocked, and then, oh boy, Eric Holla, I want to say it was Holla. Holla just tripped Letang. It was pretty obvious.
Yeah, that's
so Devils power play ends after just 41 seconds, and the teams will skate for a side. Good block there, by the way. Letang blocked the shot and then actually was able to draw that penalty. So good job by him.
I think this emphasizes more that we have to do the game.
Yeah. Look at Kat's last comment. Kat loves Eric Holla, former Hurricane.
Eric Holla.
Eric Holla.
Could you imagine if we had these guys on like before the Devils Hurricanes series that happened? Oh my God. They would have been they were going to be in your kitchen 24/7.
It would be something. It would just be great. It would just be great.
I don't think I would have made an appearance in that series.
No, you would have been like, nope. You'd be like, I'm staying out of this.
I would have been like, hello.
No, what still got me was when we were doing our division previews, and then Kat just walks in as I'm talking about the Devils, and you were like, Neil.
That was my fault because I told her to do that.
It was hilarious. No, dude, it's good content.
Or did I?
It's good content.
It was good content.
Do we have no NHL? Wow. So wait. So like, we have no games on Thanksgiving. Really? I thought we did this year.
Well, it makes sense.
But we have 15 the next day. So there you go. It's all opportunity here. And oh my goodness, Dawson Mercer just blew a wide open pass to Alex Holtz. He would have been off for a breakaway. Huh. I don't know where that came from. Oh, Mercer just banged his head on the bench because look, Mercer has Holtz by a landslide. And like, here's the thing. What's going to be funny, Kyle, you're not going to agree with this at all. Lindy Ruff is somehow going to Lindy Ruff will blame that on Holtz.
Why?
Like, he will. Like, I don't know why, but he will. He will be like, oh, he wasn't in the right position. But where else could he be?
You can't. Yeah, exactly.
As not takeaway here is Gensel tried to throw it on net, got blocked. 10 seconds to go on the 4-on-4, and then the Penguins will have about a 40-second power play. Luke Hughes comes in, drops off to Brad. Brad still with it, takes a shot, and he scores! Jesper Brad, top shelf, beats Tristan Jarry, and the Devils take the lead.
I'm going to turn my mic down a little bit. That's on me.
Should I just like calm down? Like,
no, I love it. No, I don't want you to stop saying that. This is my.
You're gonna go deaf by the end of this game.
What?
Exactly. Jari, my friend, you were so out of position. That was so bad on that. I'm sorry, Kyle. Look how far he's out.
Somebody can agree with me.
Good grief, blow the speakers. Yeah, you know what? Deal with it.
Deal with it.
She's gonna hate it when we do the Devils game together.
Clause in the contract. I like that actually.
Must have turkey.
So
turkey clause. What Angus? What? The shot there is obviously a rebound try for Nosek just goes wide. As now the Penguins are on a power play. I don't know if that goal is going to count as a shorthanded goal though.
Why wouldn't it?
Well, I don't know if the 4-on-4 expired by the time Brad scored. I don't remember. That's the thing. I just don't remember.
I don't think it did.
So it's now 3-2 New Jersey. Just about 3 minutes into the period. Crosby drops it to Malkin 10 seconds ago. Slide shot there and a great cross crease save from Vanacek on the shot there. Penguins still with it. Gets to top of the point to Gensel. Feeds it over there just out of the reach. Power play is up for Pittsburgh. As now both teams back to 5-on-5. It's now Carlson trying to keep it in. He does for a moment, but John Marino will get to it. Get it out of the zone as Palat backhands it off the boards and tried to get it to Holla, but it's taken back. But nonetheless, Kyle, a goal that blows everyone's speakers out by Jesper Bratt gives the Devils their first lead of the night.
And I mean, hey, Pittsburgh's going to have a response, though, real quick. Like you watch.
They might have a response. The shot there from Rust hit the net, didn't go in the net, hit the back of the net. Brian Rust now twice almost getting himself the hat trick. For some reason, Kyle, I think he gets it. As much as I don't want it, I feel like he's going to get it. He's like right there.
Do you trust Vanacek if this game's like 3-2 by the time it hits like the 3-minute mark and the Penguins really start pressing? Do you think you trust Vanacek enough to be like, hey, I need you to hold the fort down for these last 4 minutes? Do you trust him to do that?
Not tonight, no.
I agree.
Not tonight. It's now an opportunity here. 55 with a shot and a good pad save by Vanacek. God, that was a hard shot, turnaround shot there from, I'm not sure who took that shot, but a good save nonetheless from Vitek Vanacek. But you know what I'm actually really more or less worried about, Kyle? Not necessarily like Vanacek not being reliable at the end. It's the Devils going into what I call the penalty kill mode for the last 5 minutes where they don't shoot it. They just back up, and then when they get the puck on an empty net, instead of shooting it, they just flip it out because they don't know what to do.
But it's not just you. I've noticed a lot of teams do that too, where they just sit back when they have a lead. And it's like, no, you need to go right at them, right? You're up 3-2 in this situation. Go at them. Like, don't let them be the ones to set up in your zone. Like, make sure you're going at them and still keeping up with that same pace throughout this third period.
I mean, it has to be a consistent, attitude to have and like a mode to have. As now the Penguins trying to get it out as Lazar lost it from him. By the way, Curtis Lazar got an assist on that goal from Bratt. So now that's a golden assist for Curtis Lazar. And Luke Hughes got himself an assist on that. So there you go. One of the Hughes brothers got a point tonight.
Former Flame, Curtis Lazar.
Is he a former Flame? I associate him with the Canucks. That's all I got.
He was a Flame. He was a Canuck. He was a Senator.
So is this his first American team?
Yeah.
Is he Canadian? Yeah.
Let's find out.
I feel like
we're going on Cap Friendly.
We're going to Cap Friendly. We have a segment, Kyle. I think for NHL Weekly. Which, by the way, if you guys haven't checked out NHL Weekly, it's a 1 week show that I do every Monday, talking about the latest and greatest in the NHL world. I feel like I should have a Cap Friendly segment.
Agreed. Yep.
I don't know what to do with that, but like I feel like I got to use it somehow.
Just pick a random player. Okay, he was drafted by the Senators. He then went to Calgary. He then went to Buffalo. He then went to Boston, Vancouver, and then New Jersey.
Okay, so this is not the first time he's played in the States.
Correct. Yes.
He's played for a stateside team. Excuse me.
You know what the crazy thing is he used to be. I remember when he was like on the World Juniors team, and he was a good player, man. You go all the way back. So the year before he got drafted to the NHL, he had 41 goals and 35 assists for the Edmonton Oilers Kings all the way back in 2013. He was such a good player. And then the year before that, he had 38 goals and 23 assists. Like, it's crazy how much he's kind of fallen off.
What a save by Vitek Vanacek on a point-blank shot from Erik Karlsson. I'm sorry, I just had to say that here as we get a stoppage of play. And Karlsson is laughing his ass off that he cannot believe he did not score there. 13:36 to go in this period, and it is 3-2 New Jersey, thanks to the most recent goal from Jesper Bratt.
We're in for a good finish here. You're going to need this one, right?
Knights 4-4, Habs and Blackhawks are beating the. Why do the Blackhawks have the Lightning number right now? I don't get that.
It's early. It's still early. Other scores going
I will be nervous about Tampa when Vasilevsky gets back. I'll be like,
I'm not nervous about Tampa. I don't think they have enough power. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Any team on any given day, right?
That's true.
Other games going on, though. It's Coyotes, Blue Jackets tied at 1. Like you mentioned, Blackhawks up 1-0. 4-4 between the Knights and the Canadiens going into the end of the second period. And the game just tipped off tonight between the Canucks and the Flames in Calgary.
Kyle will pay very close attention to that one in hopes that the Canucks win 10-0.
Yep. Well, I mean, we beat the pants off the Canucks in the preseason. Maybe that was the spark that they needed to get.
That was the spark. They needed that.
We beat them 10-0 in the preseason. Like, if that doesn't say anything if you lost 10-0 to our team in the preseason, mind you, and I get it, okay? But come on, you lose to this team 10-0 for both guys who had some players in, like NHL players in, had some AHL players in, but still, you lose to that team 10-0. You're going to sit here and tell me that Canucks team's going to go on a deep run?
No.
No.
No, I'm sorry.
And I think Demko was in net that night. And I think he was in net that night. That was like 2 months ago, but still.
Probably was. Jesper Bratt, by the way, who does have the go-ahead goal for New Jersey, that is his first goal in 6 games. So this was heavily needed from Bratt, his 21st point of the year.
You mentioned it at the beginning of the game.
He needed to step up, and right now he does. But, you know, there's other guys like Mercer who just blew it. There's no other way to put it. The man just totally blew it on a breakaway pass. I mean, you saw it, Kyle. It was brutal.
It was bad. You have to have some opportunity on that. You can't do what he did there. It was pathetic.
No. And he knew it too. You saw his reaction on the bench. You knew he blew it on that one. But hopefully that doesn't end up coming back to bite them. I mean, that's the hope as Michael McLeod tries to keep it in for New Jersey. My Blues play the Sharks tonight. Yeah, 10:30 start time. About the latest one could start. Gotta love West Coast games, unless you live on the West Coast.
Sucks.
That sucks, bro.
Yeah, it's bad. How many wins do you think the San Jose Sharks will get this year?
10.
10? You think they're going to win 10?
They suck. No, Kyle, they really suck. If you have, you know how we've seen like in all sports, like teams where we have an assumption that they're like trying to purposely tank. This Sharks team, I don't think is trying to tank. I think they're just that bad.
Yeah, I'll give them a little bit more. I think they win close to 20. I think at some point they'll win close to 20 games.
You're being generous.
I am being a little generous.
Wraparound chance there for
2 wins. They have 2 wins.
Sharks, I mean, look, they've won 2 of their last 3.
I think I would agree with everybody there.
But that was preseason. Yeah, okay, great. The Pringle Arena
will be repeated in the Pringle Arena.
There's now an opportunity here for Pittsburgh with a drive from Pettersson, and he hit the post. Devils coming to the way. As now Holtz is by himself. Holtz takes a shot, and that one just goes wide of Jari. But holy smokes, Pettersson just missed.
I hope you beat the pants off us tonight, 10-0. It would do me a favor.
Kyle likes to see his team get punished.
And I hope it gives you guys a shitload of confidence going into if you guys make the playoffs this year, just because it makes the downfall that much sweeter.
It just makes the ride going down was worth the ride going up, I think. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. It's now an opportunity. Here comes Luke Hughes. Has a chance. Waits. Feeds over to Holtz. And that shot is fought off and saved by Jari. Great pass from Luke Hughes to Holtz. But Holtz just couldn't get it past Jari. That would have been a big-time goal. But Alex Holtz, in the last 40 seconds, 2 great opportunities right there to score.
If you're going to call me something worse, you got to do a little bit better than Kylie, okay? Come on.
Did I call you? Wait.
No, not you.
I thought you talked about me. I was like, when did I call you Kylie just then?
You probably have at one point.
Probably when I was in the middle of talking. I probably said it in the middle of broadcasting something.
Listen, if you're going to, you got to do a lot worse than that. I've been called much worse.
You've been called Kylie Jenner before?
I don't think so.
All right, there you go.
I don't think so. That's a good one. I like that one.
That's a good one. Yeah. It just came off. This just came off the noggin.
That was a good one. I appreciate that.
I thought it was lame, to be honest with you. I thought it was lame. All right.
On that 2-1 there, it looked like Ruedel just had a stick on it.
He did get a piece. That's why it looked like at first I thought Holtz, like he took the shot. It was just like it was too close and it was just too in close. As a high riser there goes wide. As right now the Penguins, the one thing that's got to be frustrating for them is this. A lot of their shots in this period have completely missed the net.
Mm-hmm.
Completely gone wide or high of the net.
A lot of like random shots at the point, like just off chances. Nothing quality really coming from the Penguins.
I don't oppose them necessarily like throwing everything at the net, but you got to hit the net. As now McLeod, he falls down. I don't know if they're going to call a penalty. No, I don't see an arm up. I think he just fell. Puck is in the right corner here. As that puck squirts out, Toffoli almost intercepted it. Crosby trying to get it out for Pittsburgh. Graves now with the puck. Graves chips it up to Crosby. Puck is at the bench. Pittsburgh finally gets to it. Letang will backtrack and wait for reinforcements with 9:56 and ticking to go in this one. Devils with the most recent goal earlier in this period thanks to Jesper Bratt. Top shelf, which, I mean, it was a great goal. Just very bad positioning if you're Tristan Jarry. He left way too much opening there.
Surprised that I don't know. I'm surprised still, like the stats that he showed at the beginning. I'm just surprised that Penguins fans have been bad on him. You know what I mean? I don't know.
And there's another chance right there, Kyle. Shot from Pittsburgh goes completely wide of the net. I don't know who shot that one, but right now Pittsburgh, it's a good pressure. And like you mentioned, there is an icing here with 9:20
coming up. Kyle Busch. That's a good one.
Kyle Busch. What?
I don't think they listen. I don't think they've. Do you think they'll get in this year?
The Oilers?
Yeah. I know. I don't know.
Can you give me like 10 more games and then I'll tell you? Give me 10 more games and I'll tell you.
Give me like 10 games and then we'll decide.
I want to get to like the 30 game mark and then I'll tell you.
Yeah.
For that.
I don't know.
Because the goaltending still sucks. I'm sorry. Like, I don't mean to like be like rude about it, but like the goaltending for them still blows.
It's pretty bad.
Like, it's really like people talk about New Jersey's goaltending problem. Edmonton's is like twice as bad.
They're paying Jack Campbell $80,000 a game in the NHL to open doors.
Devils aren't paying Vitek Vanacek to that much money. Paying him paying him like $3 million.
When he's playing,
he is playing.
Did any of us think like when Campbell signed that contract that it was going to be good?
I don't know. I probably not. As now Andre Palat stops on a dime, waits for reinforcements. Palat's had a pretty quiet game, but then again, that's kind of expected. A pass there! Oh my God, what a goal! Dawson Mercer with an unbelievable pass, and Alex Holtz rifles it past Jarry, and the Devils lead by 2. It's 4-2.
That was gross. That was nice.
That makes up for the other one.
That was gross.
That makes up for the pass he blew earlier.
Man, holy! Getting out of reach a little bit here.
I'm just stunned by the pass from Mercer.
Yeah,
Lord have Mercer, what a pass.
Jarry had absolutely no idea.
Well, do you blame him? What the heck is he like, bro? Like, and Alex Holtz, that might be the most emotion I've ever seen from this young kid. Oh, what a goal! I'm so happy for him because the fact that he had so many chances tonight to score, and he scores that one beautiful goal, 4th of the year. And Kyle, it is 4-2 Devils with 8.5 minutes to go in this one.
Well, now we have a little bit more faith in Vanacek. Now that's a 2-goal. They needed that 2-goal cushion.
No, I need another one. I need 3.
Yeah, you need 3. Hey,
it's not a Vanacek thing. It's I've watched this team for many years. Feed it to the Toffoli. Scores! Tyler Toffoli with an absolute beauty of a wrister. He beats Jarry, and the Devils are up by 3. It's 5-2.
What a wrister. That was such a nice shot.
Former Calgary Flame, I might add. Sorry.
You really had to do that. You really had to do that. You've been waiting for that for like 5 months now. But
no, you know what's funny though, Kyle, is that when I did the Habs game and like he had a hat trick, I kept saying, "Oh yeah, former Flame."
You bastard.
You have to admit though, what a shot from Toffoli.
Oh, no, it was a fantastic shot.
That was nasty.
Yeah, that was great.
Jarry just again, I think he's stunned. I think this crowd is stunned, Kyle. I'm stunned.
Jarry couldn't get over what happened on the last goal previous because he didn't even see the puck and it was already in the back of the net by the time he looked at Holtz.
Gaza's drunk now. Well, he's still not drunk, but he's getting there.
You know what's funny? Real quick, though, like now that you mentioned the Flames, I thought it was important to bring this up that I hate is that
you hate the Flames.
As bad as they've been, they're ahead of the Wild, they're ahead of the Oilers, they're ahead of the Blackhawks, they're ahead of the Predators, they're ahead of the Sharks.
Are they in a playoff spot? No. Yes?
There's 2 teams in front of them. That's it. How, like, what?
It's like in the year that you want them to tank, they're not doing it well.
I'm mad.
You should be.
I can't believe it.
Embrace the pain.
That's upsetting. No, I don't care. Hey, top 10 pick. That's all I need. They just need the pick this year.
I feel like I don't know who is the number 1 pick. Is a tuck try there from 63 gets what? What is that kid's name?
A lot of people said Celebrini. I don't know.
Celebrini, right. Celebrini. That's that kid. He's American, right?
Mm-hmm.
American kid plays in college.
There's no like a Connor Bedard. There's no clear cut number
Connor
1.
Bedard, yeah.
I
like the drafts when there's no consensus number 1 because then it's more fun because then I could just guess. And I don't know who's going number 1. It was like when the Devils had the first overall pick in 2017, it was between Nico Hischier and Nolan Patrick, and it wasn't clear as to who was going to go first. It wasn't like a foregone conclusion. And Jack Hughes and Capo Caco was a little bit of the same thing. It wasn't necessarily a clear-cut Jack Hughes is the number one overall pick. There were a lot of people that thought Capo Caco was going to go one.
Well, you must be happy that Jack Hughes went number
one.
Oh,
I thank God every day.
Thank God.
Kyle, if you haven't seen it yet, there is a video of Rangers fans at their watch party celebrating that the Devils took Jack first overall.
Oh.
I wish I was making that up, but I'm not.
That's bad. It's like the stupid thing is, like, why are you celebrating that when nobody's played a game yet? And then the games happen, and then look what happens.
We're all just, let's be honest, we all do it at one point or another.
Sure. Fair.
We act stupid. Okay, Luke Hughes and Jesper Bratt got assists on that goal from Tyler Toffoli, who continues to be the team leader in goals, which, I mean, I'll take it. I mean, I was excited about Toffoli.
I don't want to give you ASMR when I'm eating chips.
Yeah, okay, it's fine with me. As McLeod drops it in. Now, the question is, do the Penguins decide to pull Jari if they get one back? And they almost did there as Crosby tried to get it. As now Bratt comes looking the other way, trying to get there with speed. Tries to get around Pettersson. He cannot. Which Pettersson is this? What is his first name?
I don't remember.
Is it Ryan? Marcus. Mark, right?
Marcus.
Just Marcus.
Okay, Marcus Pettersson. Yeah.
Marcus Pettersson. Okay.
Excuse me. I'm surprised this game got out of reach.
They blew it. Delayed penalty here against the Devils. I thought they missed it, but Malkin got tripped by Dougie Hamilton. What a shock!
So now, though, if you're Pittsburgh, now that you have a power play, you have to pull the goalie.
Pull.
You got to pull the goalie.
If you want to get back in this game, because it's, I know this sounds stupid, but like, do you wave the white flag at some point? Probably not.
You wave it if you're down 5-2 with a minute to go.
Yeah. You're just like, it's not weird. But opportunity here for the Penguins, trying to get one back here, but wow. I mean, you
must be surprised that we're at this point.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think
I'm surprised the Devils have scored 3 goals in this period. Like, here's the thing. I'm not trying to disregard the rest of the team that the Devils have, because the Devils do have depth. Like, we got to call it like it is. It's just that, like, without Jack, without Timo, without Nico, and especially through like the first period and a half, it kind of felt like, especially when it got to 2-1. That's when I felt like, okay, it's whatever. But for them to respond the way that they did, instead of saying, all right, it's not our night, we don't got it again, whatever. For them to respond like that immediately and then do what they've done in this third, that could be an uplifting thing for this team moving forward. A win like this if they can get it done.
And who it's come from too. Right? No, I think this win will speak more volumes going forward, right? That's what you need a win, especially when all your guys are down, with Meyer, Hughes, and Hischier who are out. You need guys who can respond, right? You need this type of game, right? And that's just the kind of confidence that you're going to get going forward with this team. And it just helps. It just helps.
And
a lot,
I think
right?
you got to give a lot of credit to the third and fourth line guys for being the guys that got it going first. That it was somebody had to step up. Curtis Lazar gets an opportunity. He scores. Bastian gets his first. Just give them a little bit of life. And then the rest of the team goes, all right, cool. We got it now. We're going to be all right. And then it's just like the Devils in this period, as we've seen, have just taken advantage of the mistakes that the Penguins have made.
Exactly. It's been bad. Like you saw it earlier too, with like bad turnovers and Jari just letting one in 5-hole, and him not being aware of where. I mean, it was a great pass from Mercer, but still, it was for sure. It's not been a great night for Jari, and I'm surprised they haven't pulled him yet.
Yeah, they haven't pulled him yet. As Dougie Hamilton goes to the box for tripping, as now Michael McLeod is able to just get it out of the zone here with exactly 5 minutes to go. Definitely want to keep our eye on Tristan Jari. Penguins are 0-for-2 on the power play with 1 shot. There has been a goal on a Penguins power play. It just wasn't their goal. It was a shorthanded goal from Curtis Lazar that tied it at 1 as Erik Karlsson goes all the way back to his own zone for whatever reason. I don't get that. As now Malkin at the center ice dot, drops it off to Rust. Russ now back to Malkin. Tries to get a top of the point. The Penguins look to set up here. Minute 20 to go on the power play. Carlson, top of the blue line, waits, feeds over to just out of the reach of Crosby. Gensel gets to it, though, wraps it around the boards the other side to Rusty, loses it. Devils coming the other way, 2-on-1, shorthanded. Mercer with Haula. Mercer waits, feeds it, and he tried to feed it to Haula, but it was blocked. Mercer with a follow-up try, and that one's blocked, or it's saved, from Jari, but I don't know. I prefer he shoot it there instead of making that pass or trying to make that pass.
Why didn't he shoot that? Everything going well except for Dougie. Tough night for him. Well, still, hey, it's a good night for the Devils, though.
Dougie, Erica knows. Eric and I talk a lot. Dougie
1-0 Vancouver. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's go.
Vancouver's going to the Stanley Cup Finals at this point. The way they're playing.
Yeah. No, they're not.
In NHL, in Shell is now. Oh God, Jared. But to go back to Erica's point, really quickly about Dougie. Dougie don't play defense. Like, we watch enough games to know he don't play defense.
Mm-hmm.
He just don't. So, like,
fair enough.
What are we asking him to do? Right? And if Kat is still in here, she can agree with this about Dougie. So, I'm heavily disappointed in the Pens right now.
Depends. Yeah, I mean, bad turnovers tonight really is all it was. Like,
an opportunity here. Good save from Vanacek.
Playing well, really.
For sure, as we get a whistle here as Vanacek covers it with 3:05. Power play is up for Pittsburgh, so they are 0 for 3 on the night. And you know what? That's the thing I'm most happy about tonight. As weird as that's going to sound, is the fact that the Devils are 3 for 3 on the penalty kill, because their penalty kill got off to a really bad start to begin the year. We were taking a boatload of penalties.
Right.
And now it's not as bad, and we're killing off a lot more penalties, which I guess is more like it's evening itself out. Kind of like with the Devils' power play. It started off 45%. We're scoring 3 or 4 a night.
Right.
Now it's being brought back down to a more reasonable and more realistic percentage.
Yeah.
And this is with Jack, Nico, and Timo out of the lineup too, by the way.
Yeah, as they're hoping to continue the momentum. But I mean, hey, like, they were on a heater already. At some point, like, good things have to come to an end, right?
Hey, look, man, speaking from experience, it's hard to win 13 games in a row.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry. It's hard to win 14 in a row, okay? There. It's hard to win 14 in a row.
Why you got to do that?
I don't know. I did say, though, Kyle, can I just state the fact that I did say that this could, when we were previewing this game, I said this may be a game where it seems like the Penguins should just win this one easily. They've been playing really well, and instead they're down 5-2 and on the verge of having their winning streak come to an end.
Yeah, fair enough. It was, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree.
Also, I should mention, if the Devils do we got breaking news.
Yeah, well, football. Sorry.
Football. Let me hear it.
Burrow done for the night. He's been taken to the locker room with a wrist injury. He's done.
Yeah,
for the night.
my fantasy team is in. No, I had him on my bench. No, it's okay.
That sucks,
bro. The Bengals are done.
Sorry.
The Bengals are done.
Yeah. The Bills are done.
The Bills are done. Josh Allen will be traded to the Giants in the offseason because they will rebuild.
Okay, good.
Just let it happen.
Anyway, sorry, I just had to mention that. Back to hockey.
Timo must have been the problem. You know what? Sure. He was in the lineup, scored 3 in 3 straight games. We're still losing. He comes out of the lineup, and we score 5 goals.
Goza says, for once, the Devils don't suck, Neil, tonight. Well, at least they beat the Rangers.
How's it? Just keep that same energy for Saturday, please.
For Saturday? Oh, boy. Are you going to be on with Jimmy on Saturday? I know I
may. Depends on timing. Because I think I have a Friendsgiving at the same time, so I may not be able to do it. I'm not disappointed in the Blues this year, but my expectations are not. Angus, man, sometimes as a sports fan, that is literally the best place to be.
It's great. Oh, I love it. It's fantastic.
Angus, the last time you did that, and here, I'll give Angus a good example. Angus, the last time you did that, your team won the cup. So you know what? Like, it's possible.
That's a fantastic point. Oh, boy.
Oh, here we go. It's Toffoli with a breakaway. Maybe a 2-on-none. Brad beats it to Toffoli, and he missed the net. Might have hit the net. I'm not sure. Gets it back to Toffoli with a shot, and a great save by Jari Toffoli looking for his second. Now it's gotten out of control for the defense for Pittsburgh. It's just broken down completely.
But again, it's like Oh, it's bad turnovers back the other way.
Bad
How do you
turnover.
2-0
Did to
again?
fully hit the net.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He did.
Well, yeah,
He hit the side of the net.
Yeah, he hit the net.
Good pass
Still,
from Brett on the second one, though. He gave it back to Defoe. It was a good pass.
that's
I like
bad.
that.
That's
Brett
so
should have
bad.
shot. I'm sorry, Brett should have shot it. I'm just being that guy, personally.
Sure. No, I get it.
I just want more aggressiveness from Brett from a shooting perspective. I want him to shoot the damn puck. I don't want him to just like constantly look to pass it to someone else. By the way, I don't think the Penguins are going to pull Jari in this game.
I'm
You got like
surprised
2
they
minutes left and nothing has happened.
Why didn't you pull him on the power play?
I
What are you gonna do?
hate to say it, Kyle, but I think maybe Sullivan waved the white flag. As sad as that's going to sound, I think he might have.
That's bad. 5 minutes left in the game. You had a power play, and you're going to wave the white flag. That's pretty
We'll
bad.
keep the same. Thanks, Gaza. Great. I mean,
We knew that.
we knew that. Worth pointing out, when I asked you guys to sum up Canucks, you said poverty. Bro, dude, we're not 20 games in.
We're not even 20 games in, man.
Neil, you're an honorary Vancouverite. Wait, that's a term? Okay, cool. So since
Yeah,
I've
I gave them hope. I didn't think they were going to be that good.
So Kyle, since I've joined THPN, I have become an honorary Slovakian thanks to the Olympics, and now I've become an honorary Vancouverite.
You know what I'm going to predict? We're going to have such a good World Juniors this year.
Oh, it's gonna be nasty. I'm excited.
I think we're going to have a great World Juniors this year. I'm excited for it.
I want some really small country to go on a run.
Dude, I want Latvia to go on a run.
Latvia.
I would kill for Latvia.
Where did they end up last year? They ended up not in the medal round. They ended up in the elimination round, right?
Minute left in the game, by the way.
They lost. Yeah, minute to go in this one. Barring some crazy miracle, the Devils are on their way to ending their 3-game losing streak while also ending the Penguins' 5-game winning streak and finally getting themselves a much-needed and in some regards, Kyle, a much-deserved win.
Deserved. Yeah, definitely deserved. I mean, you got to feast off these turnovers that Pittsburgh was giving you guys tonight and Jari for just making simple mistakes tonight, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the Devils came out and they came to play. It was good. It was a good response in the third period. You were tied at 2. You needed to break out, and they did.
Reverse psychology, Kyle. I was hyping up Tristan Jari before this game, and he's giving up 5.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah, that's it. It worked.
It worked. It actually worked. As now I like that the Devils are still trying to be aggressive, even though they got this game pretty much in the bag.
Well, you should.
Well, that's what I mean. When you don't have your star players, I want to see like more, I want to see more aggression.
Finish it up, Neil. Finish it up.
But got 13 seconds to go here. Big time win for the Devils. Big time win regulation against a Metro Division team. Much needed win as the Devils come to Pittsburgh and beat the Penguins by the final score of 5-2. They get their first win in a while as they end their 3-game losing streak and end the Penguins' 5-game winning streak. And they get themselves a much needed win on the road to get ready for this game at home against the Rangers on Saturday.
Yeah, great win. I mean, responded in the third period, and it was a great win tonight for the Devils. I mean, you feast off these turnovers from Pittsburgh, and they deserve this one in the third period when the guys need to step up in place of Hughes and Meyer and Heischer being out. They stepped up and they executed.
And I think for the Devils, it's something of a confidence boost. It gives them a little bit of energy knowing how big that game against the Rangers on Saturday at home is going to be with how well the Rangers are playing. There have been reports also, Kyle, I don't know if you saw that it's possible that Jack Hughes could make his unexpected return to the lineup on Saturday night. So it could end up being a really, really big, exciting matchup. I mean, it's going to be anyway because it's Devils Rangers.
Now that they win tonight, it's going to be a big game Saturday.
It's going to be a big game, and so we'll see how that goes. But nonetheless, tonight, a good win on the road against the Metropolitan Division team. That is the Devils' 5th win in a row against the Penguins. So they pick up from where they left off last year with a pretty dominant third period. I mean, they had 3 goals, 3 unanswered goals. Well, actually, they finished with 4 unanswered goals. They went from being down 2-1 and ended up winning 5-2. And it was just a great win overall. So, and it was a lot of fun, as always, Kyle, hanging out with you, my friend. Thank you to everybody for hanging out with us tonight on the stream. We really do appreciate it. By the way, got a really nice comment here, Kyle. This is quite a
Clipping him
fun game to watch, but someone wants to be part of the NHL. We
Aw,
watch all the games together. I love that. Absolutely love that. And we are happy
that's
that you
so
had
nice.
I
Aw.
That's
Makes us
great.
want to swear a little bit less.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Sorry about that. We do apologize. We're very passionate about our teams.
It's true. It's true.
What can we
Yeah.
say? But we have a lot of fun here. But Kyle, any last words before we sign off for the night?
No, it was great to do this again, and I'm excited to do our next one together again. I think we should probably be able to do some more this year. And yeah, like you guys will be at it Saturday night. I don't know if you'll still make it or not, but regardless, you guys
We'll
can
see.
still, if you want, you can still enter too as well. We have our 2 hoodies that we're still giving away on our socials as well. So you have until I believe on Sunday to still enter. There's lots of time to do it, so you can still go check out our socials for that. And be sure to check out Saturday stream and Sunday stream as well for the Global Series.
It should be a lot of fun. But again, we really do thank you all hanging out with us tonight for this live watch along. Nobody got the score prediction right or the team right. So we're having fun. It's okay. There's always next game. That's the way I look at it. There's always next game to redeem yourselves. But we appreciate everybody hanging out with us tonight, and we will see you in the next live watch along. Don't forget to follow us on our social medias, which is right above Kyle, on Instagram at HockeyPodNet, and also on Twitter. Not calling it the other thing because I refuse. Follow us on Twitter as well as HockeyPodNet. That's where also on Twitter you can enter the giveaways as well. So make sure you guys go check. Is that the pin tweet, by the way, Kyle? Is that pin tweet or no?
This isn't the pin tweet. No.
Okay. No worries. No worries. It's fine. You can find it. Believe me. We've had like a lot of people share it. So it's all over the place. You can also follow our personal socials. Both of us are on Twitter. Kman534534. It's a lot of numbers.
It's the only one they had, all right?
Apparently, yeah. And you can follow my personal Twitter, the MVP Show, as well. And yeah, as always, we really appreciate y'all hanging out with us tonight. And we will see you in the next one. Once again, the final score from Pittsburgh. The Devils get a much-needed win on the road. They win this one by the final score of 5-2. And everyone continue to be the awesome people that you are. And as we always say at the end of every live watch along, Kyle, you know what's coming. Make sure to rock on.